Yes, and welcome back to the Tottenham Concept. We are up to episode de trois of the Chinwag. I know what you're thinking, especially the guys backstage. Wow, Ben is speaking French. You all might be thinking I am a cunning linguist, but you guys are master debaters. I didn't really think that one through. Listen, before we get into it, I just want to say you can do one of two things for me, or both. That'd be even better. Number one, big up your damn selves for joining the show. I very much appreciate it. All your support. Listen, all the episodes of Chinwag so far have been absolutely blinding. Your support has been unreal. And number two, most importantly, right? This is important. I've gone to court cases. I've done settlements. I've made it completely free to subscribe to the Tottenham Concept. So do me a favour and help me out. Listen, we've got a great panel of guests tonight. If I'm brutally honest with you, I've probably nicked half of YouTube, if I'm brutally honest. All right. But we've got some great guests. Do me a favour. Listen, they've taken time out of their day to come spend it with me, entertaining you. It's all for free. So do me a favour when they do come on, show them some love. Without further ado, let's get underway, shall we? We've got a banger of a show today. Right, first and foremost, let's start with... So look here, if I can add the guy. I'm going to try now. Here we go, add to stage. There we go. It's everyone. All right, well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. We've messed up straight away. We'll start with Deji. Deji, how you doing, my man? Thank you for joining the show. How you been?
No, thank you. Yeah, no, I've been good. Obviously, I needed to go for a long walk after the performance on Saturday, but I have since come back down to earth. It was a free hit. Don't panic. We will still be okay. That's what I've got.
I like that. All right, next we've got another debutant in James Flowers. How you doing, buddy?
How we doing, boys and girls? I'm well, mate. How's things? Bar in Tottenham?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm convinced I'm losing hair. But listen, it wouldn't be Spurs if you weren't losing some hair, right? That's how we do things. Ashmatic, my man, how are you?
Yes, man. Big up. Thanks for having me on. Big up to the panel. Big up Cookie. The Cookie Monster in the building. Maria. You say it, Eugene? Back again. Flower.
Long time.
And my boy did Spurs. As always, man, big up to the chat.
Good man. All right, Eugene, we'll move on to you next. How are you doing, buddy? I ain't seen you for a while, actually. You been all right?
It's been a while. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm in the presence of greatness, so good to be on.
Listen, do you know what? It's always nice to have you on. It's always nice to have you on because you're so happy all the time, you know?
Hey,
and that's what we need, positivity.
Hey, I was happy. Hey, Deji Nash knows, like, I'm happy sometimes, but after football, after watching some of those games, you know, my PTSD kicks in. So, but yeah, good to be on. Good to be on.
Bless you, mate. Thank you, all of you. Thanks for coming on. Right, Cookie, how are you doing, my man? How are you alive is my question. You do shows every single day, day in, day out. You must be exhausted, but you find the time to come on the Tottenham Concept. How are you, my friend?
Benji, anything for you, mate.
Oh,
anything.
You, mate. Stop it.
You know how it is, me and you, mate. Tight. How's it go, Ash? Something like that, is it? Tight. Whatever it is.
Tight as you like.
Whatever it is. Good evening to everyone. Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me on, Benji. Appreciate it. Good evening to everyone on the panel. I won't do the asthmatic sing-song, go round individually. I'll just say hi to everyone. And hi to everyone in the chat. Like Benji says, banger of a show, I've no doubt, tonight. And get involved, people. Get involved.
That's the general idea of it. Now, listen, it's a special day for this young lady. I'll be nice because it's my show. All right, young lady-ish, kind of, whatever.
Yeah, it's not what you usually say, is it? You call me old. You call me old, so yeah.
It can't be too nice all the time. It's boring. Can I just say congratulations on being monetized? You have,
Thank you.
Like Cookie and the rest of these boys, you've worked so hard to get where you are. Honestly, big up yourself, Mia. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you very much, and hello to everybody. I'm lucky, the only lady on the panel to be surrounded by all these guys. So what can I say? What a lucky lady
fellas,
I am.
Right? Good looking.
I wouldn't go that far, but you know.
Hang on.
Oh shit! The glasses are coming off. Clark Kent and Superman. Good.
No,
God.
I'm just cleaning and make me look a bit better. Thank you.
Good God. Right, guys, before we get started, has anybody happened to have seen the latest De Zerbi interview?
Yep.
You have. Now, do you know what? For me, I'm a bit disappointed because he said he's not so sure Savinho is going to be ready. And by the way, I say Savinho officially wants to be known as Savio. That's it. So as far as I'm concerned, Savinho is at Manchester City. We've got Savio at Spurs. It's a whole different animal. It's going to be, guys, I can't. We'll get into it. But I did want to say he answered a question that we all wanted answered. How's he going to look at the Carabao Cup? Because I feel like it's massively important to take that cup seriously this year. I really do, because I think the more games we play, the better it's going to be for squad cohesion, chemistry, so on and so forth. But he simply replied as this. He said, the Carabao Cup and how I take that competition is the same way I would take winning the Premier League. You know what? I want to hear that. I don't know about you guys. Anyone? No? All right. Okay. Fair enough.
I'll go. I don't mind. Look, great words. I didn't see the interview, Benji. I can only go on what you've just told me. Look, I think we all want to win something at some stage, right? And it's a great point from him at the end of the day to put it like that. It encourages you a little bit more as a fan, I believe. If you believe what he's saying, some people might be sceptical of it, but I don't know. I think some managers would come out with a different answer, to be fair. But he's come out and he's said what he said. And if you believe him, you believe him. If you don't, you don't. But look, he's the manager at the end of the day. What will be, mate, won't it?
100%. I just like the fact he's going to take it seriously. I know that was one of Pochettino's flaws. He wasn't so, and I don't necessarily blame Poch for wanting to take the what?
Was it a flaw of Pochettino?
I don't think it was, but a lot of people say it is.
I'll be brutally honest. I listened to the whole thing, and I just want to point out that the four players that I was raving on about on the weekend as having let us down is the four players that he identified: Tell, Gray, Bergvall, and Mikey Moore. Whatever you want to say, they were just too young, and it was too soon to have all four of them playing. And I think he says in that interview, max, you should only have two, which is what I was saying. You can't have four youngsters and think you're going to win.
Agreed.
Sense. Now, for me, I think, like Cookie said, I think in terms of trying to quickly get the soul, because he talks about the soul a lot and the chemistry amongst the players, I'm all for the Carabao Cup. But I'm not about to sit here and pretend that winning the Carabao Cup is going to bring some sort of winning mentality, because the Europa League didn't. And that has been my biggest thing. And the one thing I did hear from him, though, is that he is wanting to build a formidable side. And it dawned on me listening to him that we are in our rebuild. Like, I've been watching the signings come through. I was just seeing them as new signings. I hadn't really clocked that actually we are in the process of the rebuild. That was a different perspective. So he was like, the rebuild starts now. It started. So I was like, now I'm starting to look at the squad a lot different. My reaction to De Zerbi and the weekend is probably going to be a bit more tapered, because actually now the work is beginning. So yes, by all means, fly away. But I like the fact that he didn't say Carabao Cup winning mentality. I'm not going to hear that. What we need to get a winning mentality is to have a bloody good team. That's what gives a winning mentality. When you're winning game time after time, which is what he said. Also, he wants to win game after game after game after game. For that.
No, I love that take. Right, just quickly.
Can you let Rayn in, because Rayn's been sitting there?
I am so sorry,
Rayn. Can I add to that?
Yeah, go for it. I'm so sorry, Rayn. Rayn, big up, mate. Before you start, Jim, I am so sorry, Rayn. I didn't realise I've got so many of you in here that you've got to scroll down to see people. I'm so sorry, pal. First time, forgive me, all right? What happened again? God damn. Sorry, Jim. Go for it, bud.
Yeah, for me, I completely disagree with all of that. You shouldn't have two of them in the squad. You should have none of them in the squad. They're all crap. I'm sick and tired of having passengers and saying, we can get by with a few passengers here or there. No, you can't. Brentford ain't Brentford of old, right? Brentford away is a tough game to go to.
It is.
You don't play 4 kids and go, well, we might have got away with 2. No, those kids got us into a bottom 4 position for the last 2 years. When do you learn? You can't get away with 2. You can't get away with any. The Premier League, there is no, oh, you might be able to do this, you might be able to do that. It's all nonsense. You play your best team to win the game. The problem is we didn't have anyone better, fully fit, to be available. So I don't blame De Zerbi for that. I blame him for, I mean, Bergvall. I don't like Bergvall, but it's all well and good if everybody else is fit, right? So I disagree with that. You can't have any of them on in the starting 11 because none of them are good.
No, fair enough. Do you know what? I'm kind of with you there. Now, listen, before we do actually kick this off and get underway, if I can just get above the fucking comment, before we kick this off and get this underway, Deji, you're going to need to forgive me, my man. Please. Please forgive me. Okay. I'm under specific instruction by Stelios. Okay. Me and you was on a show the other day. I'm sorry to do this. I've got to do it. I've got to ask. Me and you were on a show the other day, and with Chest, you turned around and you said Tottenham Hotspurs are best equipped to finish second. Now, listen, was that just hype on the day, or do you stand by that?
Look, when I make these statements, I'm contrary to popular belief or whatever. I actually believe it.
I back you, by the way.
We could have a front 3 of Kudus, Mamouche, and Savinho.
Yeah.
Now that already, as a front 3, is probably in the top 4 in the Prem. Name me a better front 3. Maybe City, but Arsenal's front 3 is not better than that. Maybe Chelsea's, Liverpool's front 3. They got the Rio kid, Gakpo. I don't know if even Liverpool's front 3 is better than that. If you can say with confidence. So the potential is there with the midfield of Fernandes and Tonali. We've got the makings of a good team, but the key thing, and I agree with Flower, you can have good players, but if you do nonsense like what De Zerbi did on the weekend, then we won't make it. But actually, we just focus, play our best players week in, week out. Why can't Spurs compete? And the thing I also said, Benji, on that show was, I think Carrick is a fraud. Yeah, we saw United on the weekend. Iriola is a fraud for clapping that dusty 2-2 result against Newcastle when they should really be slapping them up. So fraudulent. And again, Chelsea should have drawn the game yesterday. They weren't high flying, and City weren't high flying either. So because these teams, I think this is how they're going to be ropey all season. We can literally carp the M, seize the day, and still a march on these teams. So that's why I think we are still best placed, but we need the players in. We need Mamouche, and we need to get Gakpo, whoever, to come in, and then I think we're set.
No, I hear it. My only thing with that, for me personally, is in order for that to happen, you'd need a well-oiled machine, and you'd need to make sure your players are fit, which for me is a big issue. My family are about to walk in, so bear with. There might be a little bit of noise. Dogs, please. There's millions of people watching. Just cut it out. Wrong. Sorry. Anyway, back to it. No, do you know what? I hear you. I don't know if I fully agree with it, but either way, I backed you on the day. It is what it is. I can't let my Spurs boy go on his own. Right. Okay. So
hey, Ben, can I disagree with Flower for a second? I'll agree and disagree.
Go on,
James. You know I love you, but when you said that the reason why we finished 17th twice is the kids, I disagree. We finished 17th twice because the senior players were crap and not good enough. Like that's the reason, right? So because most of them
they were part of the part of it why we finished 17th, right?
That's fair. I'm just saying, right? So one of the things that concerned me, and Ash and I already talked about it on his channel, but one of the things that concerned me after the game is I didn't expect anything from our front line, even the midfield. But Senesi and Van Hecke are senior players, right? They're top signings, are defenders that we should be relying on, and they look terrible. So for me, that's my biggest issue. We all know that Bergvall isn't good enough. Tell is not good enough. He's not, he won't start anymore, hopefully. Mikey Moore is not going to be starting for us. Richarlison won't be starting for us. But those two defenders are a big part of what De Zerbi is trying to build. and if they're soft defensively, and especially with Porro coming back, Porro is not a good defender. That right-hand side with Van Heck and Porro is going to be an issue, in my opinion, all season long. So my concern is the senior players that are the mainstay of what De Zerbi is trying to build. So for me, that's the takeaway of the last game, not the Bergvalls and Tells and Mikey Moores. That we all know. And we all agree.
We're going to move on to that now, Eugene. So, like a pack of rabid wolves, I'm going to throw some meat. Guys, go for it. Say what you got to say. Listen, not everyone's going to agree. I can promise you this. Now, my first subject actually is Brentford, and it's exactly this. I've got a few words to say, and then, guys, go for it. I'm going to give you the title of the subject and have at it. Brentford. Panic or patience? Take the floor. Anyone who wants to take. Someone's going to have to go.
Well, I would say that we've got to have a bit of both, right? Because I think that, yes, it's not good what happened in that game. The decisions made and the players weren't good, right? So obviously you get a bit worried about the fact that that was what happened. De Zerbi did have lack of players to actually play, but I'm not completely panicking, because when you see the first game of the season, how many mad results it does actually bring up, even for the first few games, until teams are a bit more settled, I feel like that we have to have a bit of patience. If we get these players in that we're hoping to get in, I feel like that we do have to have somewhat patience, because it is the first game and it takes, about 10 games to really see what it's about. So I think that we do have to have a slight bit of patience. I know that people don't want to have that, and people are obviously going to say, yes, but this game, like what happened, of course, I understand it, and I feel you on that. But we have to forget that game and hope that in the future the games are better, right? We can't just, we've got to hope that it does improve.
I think the worry is the not on the ball, off the ball, because we know that De Zerbi is famously known for attacking football, and so those attributes will improve. So when you improve the front line, we expect that, in possession will be a lot better, and we'll probably create a lot more, and henceforth we'll score a lot more goals, right? So in possession, there's some hope there. So we say, like, patience for that. But I think the panic is out of possession. So when you're talking about the aerial threats, we know that Mickey van der Ven's our captain now. He's got no aerial jewels in him. Then you've got Senesi, similar traits in the air, and Van Heck is the same. So all three of the centre backs that we've given new deals to, they're not physical enough in the air. And we know the Premiership is now leaning towards an out of possession phase. It's no longer in possession, which Pep, obviously changed. It was all about how much of the ball can you have and how much can you control. Now it's all about what can you do without the ball, and how can you hurt teams with all the possession. So the football meta has changed since De Zerbi has come in. And so the question is De Zerbi's football, has that been figured out? Is it dated? And has football moved on? And our coach is more tactically aware to what we're going to do, and has the gulf between the mid teams and the big six shortened. So those are the questions that we have to ask ourselves now. But I don't think it's a time to panic. We hope with the players coming in that when we do have possession, we are able to hurt teams, and therefore we won't have as many turnovers, because I think we broke a record, which was worrying. We broke a record again. We thought those days were over under Thomas Frank. We broke the record for the most turnovers in a Premier League game. So you would hope that when our midfielders come in, like your Fernandez's, obviously Tonali was there, and he gets up to speed, they get up to fitness, they're able to press. And by the way, in terms of challenges, there was hardly any tackles. There's hardly any tackles. That was a worrying thing. Where's the mentality? So those things, can be upskilled by the coach. The coach can get into the players' heads. He said that they didn't come with the right condition, the right fitness. So people are now criticizing the pre-season. But then that goes into 4 to 5 of the games that we have this season. There's a potential that we go to Newcastle and the same thing happens. And then people will start to panic, because 2 games on a row, and no results in the Premier League. Premier League's really important to us right now. I know we want to get in the cups, we want to get into those cup competitions. And yeah. De Zerbi's come out and he said, boom, like winning breeds winning. I hear that. So I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Like nobody wants to not win a cup competition, especially against a lower team in Charlton. Do you know what I mean? Where we're expected to win. I think right now it's coming down to performances, in my opinion. If the performances are looking spooky, then I think there's time for concern. There's time to kind of put your eyebrow out and say, yo, we spent what? How much money? 400 million plus, and we're not
it's something crazy.
I mean, Ash, I think you're on the money. I said I can do a defeat on any given Sunday, but for me, that performance was Thomas Frank-esque. Like I was thinking, is this Thomas Frank or a De Zerbi team? And I watched Palace, who played some really good stuff and lost to Everton. They were unlucky. If we were hitting the post and creating chances, I'd be like, you know what? With the new signings and this type of play, we will be all right. But I didn't see any play. I didn't see any system. I didn't see any De Zerbi ball. What I saw was Thomas Frank, who's wanking, who had to walk the plank type of football. So for me, that is concerning. And that's why where I would have, if I had seen a bit of De Zerbi ball, I would have probably given him more time. If I don't see De Zerbi ball against Newcastle this weekend, I might push the panic button. I'm not.
There's a problem.
I don't want to waste time.
So Benji, I don't panic, right? I have what I think is an appropriate level of expectation to where we currently are. I'm sorry, Deji, but saying that front three, even Marmoush, Kudus, and Savio is one of the best in the league, I think is way far the mark. I really do, and I think going into this weekend, a lot of people lulled themselves into a false sense of what the Premier League actually is. Brentford came out to play. They came out to play, and they did what happens in the Premier League. I remember all of last season, or at least at the start of last season, being on shows and saying Sunderland looked like a unit, and people going, they don't have the players. That's not the Premier League. The Premier League is organisation, power, and tactics. That's what the Premier League is. And if you don't have it, you can't get by with just a couple of flair players. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way anymore. You need a team. And we don't have one at the moment. De Zerbi, we've got our players in. Lots of people have been very excited about the transfer window we've had. But there's a downside to getting all these good players in and it's the turmoil within the squad. Brentford came in with a settled side who knew exactly what they were doing. And De Zerbi has got a hell of a lot of work. So I make Mia right. People are going to need to have some patience. And unfortunately, I know, because I'm there every week, I know that there's one thing that our stadium does very, very badly, and that's be patient. We are anxious. We're like cats on a hot tin roof. And if things aren't going the way that they need to be going, I'm very, very concerned that our fans are going to transmit their emotional state into the players before De Zerbi can get us up to speed. And I think that might take a couple of months. I'm just going to say one last thing to add to what Ash said. I do worry about De Zerbi ball, because the fact is, baiting the press, right? We've done that. We did that for 2 years under Ange. That's a large part of what Ange ball was about. It was about playing around the back and baiting the press, right? So we've been there. And again, I'm going to say it, our stadium and our fans are not good at the anxious thing. We've got too much PTSD. So to add to what Ash has said, not only has it been worked out, or can De Zerbi, I'm going to say as well, can De Zerbi actually pivot? Can he adjust? Because at the weekend, let's face it, with the team that he had available, surely he would have been better off playing, a solid 3 in midfield rather than rather than a double pivot and somebody playing in a 10 who was never going to get the ball.
It was a horrific mistake, Rain, playing Gallagher at 10.
So who's meant to play?
Well,
what Rain said, a flat 3.
Flat 3. Just play Gallagher, play Bergvall, but don't try to force a formation that isn't going to work.
They didn't play very high at all. They played like a flat 3. They played so defensive. What are we doing?
Play Bentancur. Play, instead of.
We don't know if they're fully fit, do we? You're making assumptions. Why would you not have played him?
Well, I do have a thing about this fitness thing. It seems. I mean, it's very hard, to know where this red line is. But doesn't it feel like we're being overly cautious with some of these players? Bentancur's had a 4-week fucking break. He's had a 4-week.
You say that though. You'd be the first one to jump on their back if they come back and got injured straight away. You'd go, well, why didn't they give him more time?
I don't think I would. I think
you don't blame Ange for bringing people back early and them getting injured again. Who is it they cut? He brought back early, come straight on and got injured and missed even longer. You've never said that, no?
I don't think Ange was very, very clear that he was taking medical advice as to when players should play and shouldn't play. I don't think Ange was ever to blame for our injury.
They didn't rush back to well. How comes the Derby hasn't come back and brought Kudos straight back in?
I don't know, dude. I don't know any of these.
This is what I'm saying. It's a very fine line to say, well, he should have done this, he should have done that, he should have done this, he should have done that, without knowing any facts, right? Clear Madison was fully fit.
Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And what I'm saying.
But that's why when I asked you, you couldn't answer.
Wait a minute, James. Oh,
fucking hell, you're still showing your own.
What I'm saying is, going forwards.
Play people that are injured.
Is he going to be able to pivot if things don't work? That's what I'm saying. Because
pivot to what? You didn't answer my question. Pivot to what?
Pivot to a different style of play. Pivot to different tactics.
You just said don't play Gallagher in a 10. He'd never played in a 10. He was sitting in front of the back line like everybody else. We were so compact and deep. Look at their second goal. Played into Richarlison. He lost the ball. Our whole team was within the last third of our pitch. So what are we talking about? Having someone here in the 10 and him out wide? Like, what are you basing it on?
That isn't what I saw. What I saw is Finale on the ball a lot in the 6 and having nobody to pass to because everybody else was hiding behind Brentford players, mate. That's what I saw.
Just what do you mean hiding behind Brentford players?
So you're saying we played a flat 3? What I saw,
we didn't have the ball. They had the ball. We was defensive,
and nobody next to him. That's what I saw.
So there's 2 phases of play. One when we have the ball, and then one when we haven't got the ball. So the defensive transition, we play a 4-4-2 when we don't have it, and sometimes we play like a 4-4-2 diamond where the number 10 or the 8, whatever we want to call them, they sit just behind the striker in it. So it depends, but on the ball, slightly different. So it depends which you guys are arguing. I don't know if you're arguing about when we had the ball, or are you arguing when we didn't have the ball? So
my first point was the fact that he said he made the wrong decision with the players that he done. He put out, and then when I said what was wrong, he said Gallagher in the 10. I said he was very rarely in the 10 if at all. And then when I said what would you do, he just kind of went on for a 20-minute rant and didn't answer the question.
Boys, can I just interrupt very quickly? Sorry, ladies and gents. Listen, SGB1, right? Listen, I don't mean to be funny. Right? I appreciate you being here, but these people you see in front of you, they're not being paid for this, yeah? Attack the opinions, not the guests. Okay, there's absolutely no need for that. Can we please try and keep that to a minimal? Sorry, James. Go on, mate.
A 20-minute rant?
Every time I tried to talk, you just spoke over me and I couldn't get my point across. So I let you crack
No,
on.
no. What happened is I tried to answer you and you
You
interrupted.
can even listen to me. How can you answer me if you don't listen to me? You kept talking over me. So, floor's yours. Crack on.
No, what happened is you interrupted me when I was trying to answer, mate.
So I think the point is with Gallagher, I don't think many people rate him as a player because he got hooked. Remember him and Bergvall, they both got hooked. Does everyone agree that was the right decision by the Zerbi, or do you think
100%?
Definitely.
Bergvall was shocking. See, this is the reason why I brought this question up, right? Because where I've said Brentford panic or patience, I can understand it from both sides. At the end of the day, you know, De Zerbi came out and said we weren't ready. You have to ask questions. Well, why weren't we ready? You know, you've had sufficient time. For me, it's something I struggle with because I sit here and I think you've had all of pre-season, you've had all these new players come in, and I understand there's been injuries. You know, people have gone far in the World Cup. I get it, but to put on that type of performance was nothing short of a disgrace.
It goes back to what Ray was saying. Like Brentford, they've been together for how many seasons? They only added like 1 or 2 players into that starting 11, and one of them was Sangare, and he bossed it. But for me, the fullback Lewis Potter, he was everywhere, and he was causing us a whole heap of problems. And when you've got no disrespect to Archie Gray, he was the captain. He's meant to be the one leading players that are older than him, that have more experience than him as well. In front of him, he's got Mikey Moore. So straight away, Brentford knew to target that right-hand side, which I saw the first few chances coming from. Then you look at the middle, you've got holes and gaps because Tonali and Bergvall, they haven't had many minutes together. So straight away, you can see that Bergvall positionally, this is for me, for what I saw, like when we didn't have the ball, and that's why I had to separate the two, on the ball and off the ball. When we didn't have the ball, it looked like Bergvall wasn't sure whether to jump or whether to sit. Even if you look at the goal, before the goal even happens, the ball gets stung into Richarlison, right? For example, Richarlison takes too many one touches, but what's meant to happen is he's meant to bounce it to the attacking midfielder or one of the midfielders. Now, for me, I thought Conor Gallagher was too far away from him. He should have been the closest man. Then he doesn't lose the ball that way, if that makes sense. So it should be 2 touch. He gets the ball, lays it off to Conor Gallagher, and then spins in behind. And then Conor Gallagher's got a decision. Does he carry it or does he fire it to either Mikey Moore running in from the right or Matthias Tell running in from the left? Because that's the whole purpose of the Richard from dropping off. You know what I'm saying? But even Bergvall, he needs to anticipate that if Richarlison loses the ball, he needs to anticipate that I need to be picking up the second balls. I didn't see any second balls. I didn't see any third balls. I didn't see no balls. Pause. You know what I'm saying? I just saw a lot of poor and heartless decisions from our players. It looked like they didn't want it. Do you get it?
And
so we got out.
They looked nervous to me.
Nervous.
That's the key
What
word.
nervous?
Yeah, and actually, I think that's why he then brought Bentancur, and for that to try and get that. So maybe he did adjust, but it was too late. Game was gone. You know, game was gone. Game was gone. Game was gone. Brentford were like, that's it, we won, and we couldn't do anything. You know, they just let us have the ball.
Hey, the game was gone from when. Sorry to cut you. Sorry, go on, Karen. No. I was just saying the game was gone for me. I ain't here to rush it on Kinski, but for me, I was trying to back him. But when he carried it, obviously the defender needs to be aware to it. So Senesi needs to be aware of if the ball drops around that area, he needs to be first to that. But the keeper has to palm it away. Do you know what I'm saying? He's palming it back to my man, and then that for me was a killer. Do you understand? Yeah. So it was a whole heap of mistakes in that second goal which killed the game. And we were getting peppered before that anyway. We were conceding chances after chance. They were doing balls over the top. You know what I'm saying? It was Shada that was coming inside, and then Lewis Potter, he was jumping into midfield. Remember, he was the one that scored the goal. Like he came like the striker, like total football. I'm like, what? How is he scoring? Who's picking up Lewis Potter? Do you understand? It was a whole heap of set pieces. It was a nightmare. Obviously, you consider but there was so much. Even when they played out from the back, if you even watch the goal back, they did the short passes. They played through us, bro. They just had our number. And then obviously, the reason why I said is the Zerbi ball figured out is because the Zerbi likes to play centrally, and he likes to build up through the middle. So what they did is they got their 2 strikers, they got their 2 midfielders, and they got their 2 centre backs to push up aggressively. And then there was no space in the middle, so we were forced out wide to Archie Gray and Mikey Moore. Bless their hearts, because they're only kids. Do you know what I mean? So, but there was a whole heap of errors, a whole heap of madness. Players weren't ready. Manager got it wrong. He picked the wrong team. Like, it's just, we're not used to playing with these players. Like, it was just a whole heap of madness. And even if we do have a better team out, and like Ranger said, he figured it out. Let me bring on Bentancur, because Bentancur passed twice as many passes than, look, I know some people like Conor Gallagher, but twice as many passes than Conor Gallagher. That just shows to me he's controlling the game. I know it's sideways, backwards, but the whole point is that retain the ball, get a bit of possession. The first half we had, 47%, or it was close, basically 50-50 in it, basically. But the second half, it jumped to like almost 70%. And then they had but like I said, nowadays, it doesn't matter how much of the ball you have. It's all about the chances, the chance creations. How quickly can you get up the field and hurt teams? How many times do we have Ange ball and we play Wolves and Wolves just hit us quick with a counter attack, boom, 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 boom? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's where the concerns come back in again. Do you get it? Not to say we can't overcome these with time, with better players. It's only the first game, so we can't be hyperbolic and overreact in this particular situation. So,
Ash, can I ask a quick question? Can I ask a very quick question? People keep saying hyperbolic. Now, the only hyperbolic I know is the hyperbolic time chamber in Dragon Ball Z. Can someone explain to you what hyperbolic actually means? Deji, I see you smiling up there, my man. You know what I'm talking about. Don't even.
Overreactive, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? First game. Oh my God. It's gonna all end.
But to be fair, though, and Ash, I think your assessment is absolutely spot on. The one thing that did piss me off is the game didn't tell us anything that we didn't already know. For those people pretending to lie to themselves and say that Kinky is a good goalkeeper, there you have it. He's not good enough for our club. Not,
Come on, Did you said after one game of all goalkeepers make mistakes, right? I'm going to say, hold up. Let me just say, right. What I will say is that I don't think we should create that problem right now. And I did say we should keep him, not because I think he is special as a goalkeeper. However, we are judging him when other goalkeepers, Raya makes mistakes. We've seen Allison make mistakes. We've seen Edison make mistakes. One game making a mistake and saying that's it. You're being hyperbolic now by saying that's it. He's not good enough. Like, how can we judge him after one bad game, man? Everybody was bad.
Is this flavour of the week? This hyperbolic. I've heard this word all week. What the fuck is going on here?
Like, come on! I feel like that if we're going to judge, we're going to judge all of them on that game, right? The fact is that all of them will crap that game. They're all crap last season as well. So we can't say that all the players are just crap.
Maybe me, or maybe I guess maybe, and I don't know if it was Rayn who said it. Maybe it's about my expectations for the club, and I need to be clear. So for me, I'm expecting Spurs to be in the Champions League. That's my expectation. And so I asked myself the question: is Kinski a goalkeeper that's going to make sure that we're in the top 6? He's not a top 6 goalkeeper, and I've seen too many mistakes from him. But equally, we knew during the last 7 games that Bergvall, Archie Gray weren't good enough, because he dropped them saying that they weren't ready for the relegation fight. So we already knew this. So that's why I said it was a free hit, in the sense of he wants to keep Bergvall, wants to give him confidence, wanted to see if Mikey Moore could do something. But really, all they did was confirm what we all knew, which is that they're not ready. And moving forward, we definitely need those more experienced players. He didn't play them for a reason in the last run. That is clear. So no one is surprised. But I will say this, though. I look at Kelleher. If you have that Kelleher in goal for Spurs,
the Irish one,
the Irish guy, I think that those goals don't go in.
Deji, I don't care who your keeper is. If the defenders in front of the keeper cannot defend set pieces, cannot jump, cannot box out, cannot be physical, every keeper is going to have a nightmare, right? Every keeper is going to make mistakes. If you look at the back line, they were bullied all night on corners and set pieces. So yes, he made a mistake. But if you look at Arsenal, look at Raya. Raya is not getting bullied because of Gabriel and Saliba, right? They're defenders. They protect the box. Our defenders are soft. So I'm not saying that Kingsley is amazing, right? I'd rather have Emi Martinez, right? My choice. However, let's be fair and say if defenders do their job, he's not going to be as exposed as we've seen sometimes, right? That's my point. I'm not saying he's amazing, but defenders have to do their job, and they didn't. That's my point.
But within reason, Eugene, right? The ball comes straight at him. He could have controlled it with his foot, and he palmed it out to the guy 4 yards out in the center of the box.
Sure, I don't disagree.
That is learn that at the age of 5, right? Palm it to the side. What Mia said there as well about him making one mistake. He made loads of mistakes last season, but he has good reflexes to get himself out of trouble. One of his best saves where he dived to the right-hand side, or right or left-hand side, I can't remember. He was like all the way to the left of the post or the right, and a goal was open. So they tried to fire it into the opposite corner, and he got there. But if he was just standing in the correct position in the first place, he wouldn't have even need to dive to make that save.
But he still got there, no? So, like, he still got there. I know, like, he made that, obviously, error with his positioning, but he still got there. I just feel like that with Tottenham
but when you come against better teams and they actually finish into the corners and find spots like that, you don't get there. When you're in the wrong position.
I understand. I'm not trying to say, James, that he's like I say, I'm not saying he's the best keeper, but I do think that we are nitpicking at somebody that I think when it comes to it, everybody thought after that game that he had was horrific, was never going to come back. And I think that actually in general, I don't think he's actually a bad keeper. As I've just stated, when you watch Raya last season, he was playing the ball flat at the back and making mistakes, and Arsenal were lucky not to concede. You saw Edison make mistakes, you saw Alisson make mistakes. Goalkeepers will make mistakes. But the fact is that right now, I feel like that we are just being a little bit nitpicky after one game with him. And you're obviously said about last season, but all of them were crap last season because
we can't criticise him.
No, I'm not saying we can't criticise, but I'm just saying. I feel like saying that we are saying. No, I'm not. That's not what I just. Did I say the words? Mark saying, "Do not criticise." I just said that I feel like we are being hyperbolic and nitpicking as a goalkeeper.
How are we nitpicking by calling out his faults? How was that nitpicking? Because you might like him or there's a favouritism towards him.
No,
he made a mistake. I'm calling that mistake out.
I never said there was a favouritism. You just said about a mistake last season. That was last season. What I'm trying to say to you, this is a fresh season. We played one game and people already saying, get him gone. Like, I feel like that's a little bit hyperbolic.
I never said get him gone, but if you want to be in the top 6, and I think this is what Deji was saying, so don't kind of quote me here, mate. I don't want to kind of talk over you, but if you want to be finishing in the top 6, he ain't nowhere near a top 6 level. So this is going to happen when you rely on him, and there are going to be games where, no matter what people say about Vicario, for me, Vicario was a good shot stopper, terrible with his feet. So in those games where you do come under fire, he would make those saves. I haven't seen, you're saying we like people are nitpicking or whatever, but we've only seen this guy in about 8 or 9 games, and for me, he's made mistakes in 4 of those. So I don't think it's nitpicking over one thing. I think it's assessing the whole situation. I can't just forget about last season and start a new season, because then that means I would be kind of unfair on my opinions towards Richarlison, towards Tell, towards all of the above, because I've seen them before and they weren't up to standard.
The thing is, right, with no, for sure. But look, with Kinski, right, this is where I am at with him. You cannot judge a player after 7, 8 games, right? You just can't. It's impossible. However, I've got mad respect for him coming back after what happened to him. That's first and foremost. But realistically, it's difficult because big teams that win big things have big keepers. And Kinski is not of that ilk. However, that being said, I still, maybe I'm just being sentimental here, but I still kind of want to back him for the time being. Look, that was a poor showing from Kinski. Make no mistake about it. It was. But again, Eugene made a point. Listen, the shots that were coming at him should not have happened. The defense were absolutely appalling. Van Heck above all. I was so disgusted with his performance. But
I was
for
disappointed.
me, it's 100%. For me, it's a difficult thing. But look, before we go on to the next one,
Before you move on, Andrew, can I just ask a question? Is it that if you have a good goalkeeper, they settle the defense, or the defense settles the keeper? Because my opinion is, when you can trust your goalkeeper, then the defense can play within themselves and be settled. But if you don't trust your keeper, that's when you have performances like what you saw from the back line. Because I'm not going to lie to you, Senesi and Van Hecker look like they've never played football or played at the back before. I thought, what the hell am I watching there? 6s and 7s, literally. And I just feel like, you know, when I watch Raya, when you watch certain types of keepers, even when we had Loris, they're commanding, right? That's what Vicara didn't have. They command and they command the back line. And Kingsley hasn't done that.
No, that's a good point, Edge. No, that's spot on. Like, I agree with you, but at the same time, the defenders gotta, protect the keeper as well. So it goes both ways. And Flower and Mia are both right. Kinski is not a top 4 keeper or a top 5 keeper. However, if we look at our squad, we need another winger, a striker, I would say a number 10, a right back. So Kinski is an issue, but he's not our biggest issue, in my opinion, right now. He could definitely cost us, right? However, if you look at other positions, I'm perfectly fine getting Emi Martinez, right? Or just go back next window and getting somebody else. But right now, I would rather see us spend money on a number 10 and a striker and a right back. Kinski is not a top 5 keeper. I agree. He might turn into one in a year or two. Right now, he's not. However, we're so short in other areas in the squad that, again, my opinion only, but he might be decent enough for 6 months or this season. And if he improves, he improves. If not, next season, he'll be gone.
For sure. Well, can I just jump in here really quick hold on. Before anyone goes, listen, Danny has just rated us. Thank you so very much, Danny. I appreciate that. I really do. And for you that have just stopped by, the current topic is Brentford, panic or patience. So look, but before we go on to the next question, what I want to do is want to point it towards you, Cookie, because you haven't said anything yet. Panic or patience, my man? Take us home. You're on mute. It's not a good start.
Rookie mistake there. Sorry. Sorry.
Do you know what, guys? To be fair to you, Cookie, I did that for about 45 seconds on my first ever Chinwag. I wanted to, you know those moments where you just want the ground to open up and swallow you. It was one of them.
It's one of them, isn't it? Yeah. What can I say? To answer the question, Ash, I've got to say, you said about records being broken. Again, at the wrong end. There's another record that Spurs broke at the wrong end at the Brentford game at the weekend, which was a side that over the 90 whatever minutes it was that was played had 59% of the ball. That was Tottenham. Yeah, it was 59.8%. So let's just round it up. It was 60-40 over the 90 whatever minutes. In that time, we conceded 26 shots at goal. Obviously lost the game 3-0, but against a team that had 40% possession overall. That is a Premier League record. Just saying. I'm not trying to outdo you or anything, Ash. But...
So what are you saying? Are you panicking after we say that's that, or are you patient?
Listen, I think we've got to have a bit of patience. I'm the first one, as you all know. Yeah, I'll jump on Enoch, and I have done for the last few weeks because no one's been coming in. Right, but De Zerbi did do things wrong in the game. We've all got no doubt about that. Right?
For sure, without doubt.
I think we agree on that, right? Wholeheartedly. But number one, in pre-season, we haven't seen really anywhere near a settled first 11 that would play. I mean, we're saying first 11, first 8, I want to say, because it seemed like, there was different players every time that there was a game. But anyway, regarding that, look, I think we've got to have a bit of patience at the end of the day. Do I want to beat Charlton on Wednesday, tomorrow night? Of course I do. Do I want to beat Newcastle at the weekend? Of course I do. Right? I think the panic might set in. If we went 4 or 5 games without a win, I think the fan base might shit themselves, to be quite honest with you, generally. Yeah, and all of a sudden it'll be De Zerbi out. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. And I'm not talking about us lot, by the way. I'm talking about,
No, for sure. Spurs fans in general.
Yeah, in general. So, look, I think patience is a massive thing. The panic might well come in if that happens, especially if it happens early doors. I think the further he goes down the road, if that happened then he might get a bit of grace for it, because people might see what he's trying to do. Like Ash said, have people seen through it already? I think we'll only find out when he's got whatever his first 11 is going to be this season with the forwards settled in. And we've all got to remember, this is virtually going to be a brand new 11. And it takes time.
It does. It does.
I'm the first one, man. Like, come on, Spurs. You spent all this money. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Before you speak, Dan, I'd like to introduce you, my man. Listen, thank you so much for that raid. I very much appreciate it. There is currently 4 million people watching this stream, guys. So listen, on your best behaviour. At least 3.9 came from Danny. So thank you, my man. Appreciate that, pal. How you doing tonight? You good?
Yeah, mate. Apart from talking about Spurs and shitting ourselves playing against Charlton tomorrow, all things good. I mean, because if we don't go and batter Charlton tomorrow, this fan base is going to fall off a cliff like it always bloody does.
Yep.
People are going to turn. People already started turning on players after getting battered by Brentford. So you watch what happens if we get done by Charlton Athletic. You watch this fan base turn. You watch it. More than questions will be asked. This whole thing is going to take time.
We could get done by Charlton, to be fair. I watched their game against West Ham, and they gave them a good. they gave them a good battering, to be fair.
Oh, so you know this fan base well enough, then. No, this fan base well enough. If we get done by Charlton, this fan base is going to go fucking bonkers. It is going to go off its head, and it is going to go electric, and it is going to go toxic. Getting done by Charlton Athletic at home, this fan base is going to lose the plot.
Relax, do you think Danny, mate? We've got Savinio, son. Calm yourself down. It's going to be all right, mate. Everything's better with Savio in the team, mate. Relax.
Is it the fan base, or is it a little bit De Zerbi kind of set us up a little bit? Because, De Zerbi's been like, I really love the team. I think they're brilliant. And to be fair, I think we can compete. That's what he said. He reckons we could compete, and then said, but we will see with chest how the boys perform on the pitch, and then the boys didn't perform. So he actually
he made the most stupid thing ever. One thing I want to put to that with Deji, but then Deji, he made the most dickhead decision I have ever seen a manager do in my life. Ever. He made Archie Gray captain. Yeah. Archie Gray as captain. When you've got someone like Robertson sitting there who has conquered Europe, conquered the Premier League, and he's taking orders of some spotty little prick on the side of the pitch. And then you've got Gallagher there, like him or not, who has captained Chelsea. You've got other players like Tonali on there, and he made Archie Gray as captain. What the hell is that man doing?
But Dan, what would change? What would change if Robertson is captain? There still were crap. Not like it doesn't matter. It's like an honorary role.
So you're telling me that was the right thing to make Gray as captain, yeah?
No. I'm just saying it doesn't matter. Nothing would have changed.
I think we have to
have an effect on the team.
Sorry. I think we have to dial out from the micro, dial out from the looking at the individual problems. I'm going to go back like 30 minutes to like something that Deji said, right? And I've been waiting very patiently for like 30 minutes. And Deji listed out players who weren't good enough. And Deji's Deji didn't go far enough, right? Deji didn't mention Mikey Moore. Deji didn't mention Richarlison, right? Deji didn't even mention Archie Gray, right? You know, the problem is not individuals. The problem is that the squad is not yet good enough. Now, will that get better? Will that get better? Will we get Kudus on the pitch? Will Maddison ever play 90 minutes for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club again? Right? You know, will we actually get
with his Weetabix ankles? Yeah,
exactly. Will we ever get a quality squad that De Zerbi can actually work with? Because Deji, I'm going to answer you, mate. In terms of what De Zerbi has been absolutely honest with us. If we actually sort of listen to what he's saying, if we're really sort of analytical and pull it out, 60% done in the transfer window, right? And he knew that the squad was undercooked in terms of what we had to do. He's telling us that the players aren't ready, right? And it's not, none of us want it to be true, but it is true. And unfortunately, we are just going to, like Cookie says, right? I think we're in for a very tough couple of months. I think we're in for a really tough couple of months.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I just hope that he can get everything back and something happens around, before Christmas. That's what I hope.
Joe, I think
hold on. That leads me perfectly onto my next question, guys. Perfect.
Can I quickly speak about what that was said first, please?
Absolutely not. No. Anyway, moving. No, go on, Mia. Go for it.
But I think people have a short memory, to be honest with you, because we had the same situation when we had Poch, right? It's different, obviously, circumstances, but we did have the same sort of thing. So the lack of patience that people give is obviously something that, obviously, I think people should consider when we had someone like a Poch and what it ended up with, because we gave Poch that time, right? So I feel like that you've got to have a bit more. People have to not just be so short-sighted when it comes to stuff like this. And that's just my
Benji,
point.
let me correct you for a second. It's not Savinho, it's Savio. Savinho is the guy who couldn't score any goals for City. We're getting Savio, 85 million, who's going to solve all our issues. So get that right. Don't confuse the two. Savinho and Savio are different players.
Oh, don't big him up anymore. I think that Benji's excited enough as it is. Bloody hell.
Don't. I've got, do you know what, guys, I've got something special for you. I've done a personal one-to-one interview with Savinho, and that's coming up shortly, make no mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, yes.
Are you joking?
Benji, we don't want to see what goes on in your bedroom, mate, for fuck's sake. This is football, not porn.
We're talking straps, KY jelly. It got messy, but I'm going to air it on YouTube for you guys. It's coming. Prepare yourselves.
How long have I got to go and get my KY jelly, by the way?
Just quickly, Deji's left us. Mate, don't even. Deji's left us. I just want to say a massive thank you for Deji for joining the show. Mods, if you could please pop that guy's link up in the chat, I would be massively grateful. Thank you very much. But look, I want to move on to the next segment. So this should be quite a spicy one.
Benji, one thing quick, mate. I think a few people, I'm just bringing over something from my show quick, because I don't know what exactly you spoke about, yeah? I think a few of us,
I'll tell you just quickly. I'll tell you the thing was Brentford panic or patience. That was the starting.
Bit of both. I can understand both sides, yeah, because it's just a follow over from last season, and we actually looked worse than last season, yeah. It's just the thing is with this one, like it or not, even though we've been shafted for 25 years with patience, yeah, we're going to have to do this with patience. We're going to have to look at this the Arsenal way, whether one way or another, we've got to be doing it basically. And this fan base, for some strange reason, is one of the most unforgiving fan bases in football, because they think we're this elite club when we definitely ain't. We're a cup club, and we're just going to have to ride this one out. I would rather, over the next 3 months, up to Christmas, January, see us have a really rough time, get battered a few times and everything else, but slowly start seeing progress. And then in January, get rid of some of the bullshit we've got on here, get another good player or two in there that gets in that first team, puts the others back to the squad, which makes the squad better. And then slowly by the end of the season, if we end up finishing 8th, but you've seen progress, that is what I want. I don't want to see another Ange thing where we look quality for 10 games and then get pushed off a cliff without a bloody rope. You might as well chuck us out a bloody plane. Yeah.
Okay.
Like doing some bungee jumping and that. That is what I want to see. And I can accept that. As long as I see progress coming on, you're just going to have to take this one, like it or lump it. Some of it, you're just going to get no Vaseline. Some of it, it might not be as rough. Some of it, it might look better. But one way or another, you're going to have to take it. We ain't going to be the givers here.
I'm with you wholeheartedly, because at the end of the day, I've said
I wasn't having a go at no one. I was just
no, for sure. People, ourselves included, need to temper our expectations. Historically, Chelsea, Liverpool, when you buy a big influx of players, it never works out because you've not got a team. You've got a squad of good players. That's it. It takes time. So, Dan, I'm with you wholeheartedly. But listen, on to my next bit.
Ben, can I just,
guys,
sorry,
am I allowed to go through to the next question? Damn you people. Go on, Cook.
Can I just say, look, I'm an old man, right? I want success tomorrow. Right? I haven't seen us win the league. Right? I've been lucky, seen us win a few cups and all that back in the day when I was younger. Yeah, but I'd like to see something at this club, yeah, beginning with it starting to be actually run properly, because the mentality of that will feed through, yeah, to the players on the floor. Everyone needs to be aligned.
For sure.
You know, as a club, all the way through, from whoever is the top dog, yeah, or dogs, to all the way through to Beryl. We've got to be that club, because if we're not, we never win nothing.
No, I hear it. I hear it. No, do you know what? I do understand there is an urgency amongst the fans. I get that. But look, listen, I'll move on to my next question. Now, I'm going to jig this around. Okay. My next question is this. Is Savinho the winger we've been crying out for? Okay.
No.
Because you've got to think, no, hold on. Let me finish.
You've
got to think to yourself, right? You've got to think to yourself. Yes, the guy's goal record isn't damn fucking honestly.
It's crap.
The guy's goal record is not the greatest, but he's capable of scoring goals. But we've got no major creator in the squad at the moment. And for me, Savinho is that guy. Now, listen, I told you, I got the interview. I got the exclusive. And I'm going to play it for you right now. Now, YouTube, this is a joke. Please don't fucking shut me down or cancel this video, okay? It's like a little disclaimer, YouTube. This is just a joke. So let's hear from Savinho right now, shall we? Here we go.
Denji has always had faith in me. He loves me and I him. Man City try keep me, but now I am here to cook. Subscribe to the Tottenham concept.
Stop it, Savinho. Bless his heart. Listen, guys, I am convinced we've got a world beater here. Even
that was cringy,
Zerbi himself. It was cringy, but it was kind of funny. I found it amusing. All right?
That was fucking cringy, man.
It is what it is, all right? Listen, as far as I'm concerned, we have a serious winger on our hand. And we've all sat there and we've all complained, oh, we never make the right decisions in the final third. This is where Savinho thrives. This is where he thrives. So, guys, I'll ask you the question. Is this the sort of winger we've been crying out for?
No.
Yes.
Go on.
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, James, I'll come to you first. Go ahead.
I think he's class, man. I've been saying for ages, I think he's such a good player. Certain players fit certain systems, and when they join a team that don't fit that system, people write him off. But I think I don't think everybody said exactly the same thing with Kudos. Look at his GA, down tools, he can't be asked, he's lazy. None of that was true in the first quarter of the season that he was fit for us. So for me, people are very sort of short-sighted, and him one side, Kudos the other side, is going to be drawing back fours, left, right, and centre. So for me, perfect winner.
I agree. Dan, what is your problem with Savinho?
I counter that. My problem, it's not a particular problem. I'll make James right on what he said, but I'll add the problem to it, yeah? I mean, I'm a Spurs supporter. Of course, I'm going to add a fucking problem to it.
Naturally.
So the problem, exactly that. So the problem is, we've all gone on about, you being one of them, especially James, that we need goal scorers. We need people who can put it in the back of the net. We need people up there that can do the job, because even Marmoush is not going to score 25 goals in a season. Or if he does, epic. But I don't see that happening. 18, 20, over the moon. If he only gets 14, 15, then he hasn't done no better than Richie. Right. So, Kudus. Well, if the man plays again, I mean, he's been battered for how long? You'd be lucky if you get double figures out of him. Kulusevski, just cancel his contract. The man's done and dusted. You might as well give him a blue badge the way he's sitting at Spurs. He's done and dusted. Right, Maddison. You all know he's got Weetabix for ankles. You ain't going to be getting consistent goals out of him either. Right, there's another problem there. Tell. Okay, we put Tell aside for Savinho. Savinho has scored 2 goals, 3 goals in bloody 2 years. We need goal scorers. I hope that it can change and he can get Savinho to score goals. I hope he can. Have I seen Savinho do it? No, not in the Premier League. I know your argument is in Spain he has done it. Well, sorry, Spain is a very different league to the Premier League. The Premier League is the hardest league in the world for a reason. Pep Guardiola.
But it's how much you discredit it. That's my problem.
I don't care. I'm only going by what Pep Guardiola says, and he said it's much harder than the Spanish league.
Can I counter that though? Just that little part. Can I counter that?
But he doesn't score goals and hasn't done
it.
Fair.
Fair. And that's
so
fair.
Where did the goals come from, James?
I think it's going to be me personally. I think, say for example, Marmoush come in. I think Kudus will get like 8. He'll get 8. Marmoush will get like 16. Well, maybe not Maddison, but I think it'll be split. But what you said there, obviously about goals, obviously that's a hard one to argue with because it's
Tonali ain't going to score. Fernandez ain't going to score.
Yeah, I think they would pop
How
up with
do
a
you
few,
know this though? How do you know what? How do you know
because
this?
they've never done it in their bloody career.
Oh, listen, you don't know. When people say to me, "Oh, we need 80 goals every single fucking,"
I didn't say that
season. It's
we need more than fucking 48.
But you don't know what players are going to do every season. There are players that have scored 5 goals.
I go by bloody history. I go by history on facts. Okay, they might all come good and score 20, 30 goals. Anything can happen. I might win the fucking Euros tonight. You don't know, yeah? But my point is, on paper, on facts, on history, Tonali don't score more than 5 or 6 in the season. Fernandez ain't done it. Kudus ain't done it. Savinho ain't done it. Maddison can't do it because he's too bloody
not in the Premier League.
Not in the Premier League, where it matters, Ben. Where it matters.
But it shows
Maddison's going to be too busted. Kulu ain't going to play football again. He's going to be lucky if he ain't got a walking stick for the rest of his life. And then when it comes down to Marmoush, let's hope it works. And then we have Solanke as backup. And I reckon we might see a couple of goals off Porro and Robertson. So by the facts, if you're going to go by the odds and you want to do a safe bet, you're going to say it don't look great. Let's just hope De Zerbi can do a good job there and turn this into something. I'm not saying it won't be, but I'm only going by the facts, Ben, and the facts say they don't score consistently. Make me wrong.
Well, can I? The only thing I was going to say there, obviously, a little bit is he's it's not all goal scoring, but his GA in his first season of the Prem was actually really good. It was actually really good.
10, wasn't it? He scored a goal and 10 goal assists, wasn't it, or something along the lines?
For City, I think it was 9 or 11. I think it was 11 GA in 27 games, which is like 1 goal or assist in every 2 and a bit games, which is good. It might have been 9, but yeah, it was something like that in 27 games. So that's 1 in 2 and a bit. He would get a goal or an assist. So for me, that was playing in a team sort of providing. Then Haaland comes in and takes the full brunt of everything. We see the sort of stuff that Carl Walker is saying. He didn't like anybody that could turn on a 50p piece and drive. That is Savio. If you take that away from Savio, then you've literally limited the guy to everything he's not good at. So for me personally.
But James, let's be honest. None of us.
But he hasn't done it as yet.
None of us on the panel, maybe Ash, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, have watched every game that Savio has played for Man City, right? So I haven't, I admit it. So I've been listening to Man City fans talk about him. So one of the things that they say about him, he's great, taking his man on, ball control, all that is elite. What he is lacking is good decision-making in front of the net. So somebody, I'm not sure, James, if it was you or Benji, said that's his strength. The Man City fans who, like on YouTube, who know ball, they said that's his weakness. He usually makes, when he's supposed to pass, he shoots. When he's supposed to shoot, he passes. Now, I trust De Zerbi that Savio fits as a touchline winger that he fits what De Zerbi wants to do. But from what I heard, decision making is an issue for him. So that's the question for me. Will he improve his decision making?
Let's hope so.
And goals, right? Those two are my biggest concerns with him.
Exactly. I hope he can do it, and I'm not saying he can't do it. As all I can go by is the evidence that is there by hardcore fact that he hasn't done it. And that's usually what you have to go by. You can only look at improvement by looking at the past. So great, if he goes and scores 3 goals this season, you can say that De Zerbi's made him a better player because he scored more than 1 in a fucking season. But we need more than that. We need goals. I mean, what was it? 44 goals last season, or was it 48? What, something
48.
along them like
It was 48 in the Premier League.
Yeah, and that nearly got us bloody relegated, for God's sake. That is horrendous. We need more goals than that. I'm not saying we got to get 80, but we need to get at least 65.
Yeah, so yeah, I hear it. So basically what it is, obviously times changed because before we had elite finishers, right? So we had Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson was the man to put it in the back of the net, and we've lost that. Now, I remember in the fan base, a lot of people were criticizing Brennan Johnson because he wouldn't take on his man. So the question was, is he the type of winger that we need? Yes. Is he the type of forward we need? No. I think if you can distinguish the two, I think you might have your answer, because I think fans are arguing different points. And I think a lot of Spurs fans, you know, they want to see the Tottenham way. What is the Tottenham way? Attacking football, as Dan, you know, isn't
it? there hasn't been a Tottenham way for 25 years, mate.
No, I know. But humor me for a second, right?
I know.
Bums off seats, someone that can, you know, excite you. You want to go to a football matches, you want to be at least entertained, innit? I know, like, people don't like that notion because you want to win games, right? And goals wins you games. I think with Savinho, what he does give us is ball retention. So there's times when we need to come and play out the block. We need to build up. And as we saw against Brentford, we had a record number of turnovers. With Savinho in the team, when we're playing out from the back, he's going to be able to retain that ball. And so I've heard someone mention him as like, he retains it almost like a midfielder, like a number 6 would, if that makes sense. So that's how secure he is on the ball. Now, when you've got Matthias Tell getting the ball, or sometimes before it was Jed Spence on that left-hand side, it always went backwards. It never went forwards. With Savinho, his first touch could take it past a man. And then all of a sudden, it looks like a counter-attack because De Zerbi's football is all about transitions and counter-attacks. But the only difference is he builds up slowly from the back, from building up from the goalkeeper, blah, 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 baits the press, and then we attack behind. So Savinho, I think, is an important cog in the wheel to help that chance creation, because Spurs last season, we had a real problem in chance creation. So if we create more chances, you look at Solanke now and you're like, if you don't put them away, then you're like, aha, Solanke's the issue. Or whoever is in the box, if they're not putting them away, then you're like, aha, they're the problem. Do you understand? The decision. Go on, sorry. Go on.
No, go on. I interrupted you. Go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, the thing about decision making, I look at how many minutes he's played. And in his first season, he played the bulk of his minutes. And he got more open play chances created. I know people don't like that term, but in terms of setting up his teammate, whether they put it in the back of the net or not, he had more than Bruno Fernandes, who is the best at chance creation in the league, with less minutes. He had more than, who was the next one? Odegaard. He had more than Minte. He was basically the highest chance creator in the league in his first season, and he had 1,700 minutes. Now, typically, if you complete a season and you play quite a lot of games, you get more towards the 2,500 mark. So that's 1,000 minutes that he lacked, but still outperformed seasoned pros, seasoned creators. So if you look at Savinho as a creator, as opposed to judging him on goal scoring. Now, look, me as a fan, I want goals. Like, I will critique him. If he's not scoring goals for 75 million, I'm like, what the hell? Do you get it? But at the same time, I think the more minutes he gets, the better he will become with his decision making. Am I making sense?
I can go with that. I can.
Sorry, Dan.
I can go with that.
Correct, Ash, for a second there, really, really quick. To be fair, Savinho actually played 1,772 minutes, which equates to 20.
All right, Lubo. All right, Lubo. Chill out.
Hold on. Wait, I'm getting to it. Right.
I was going to talk about this season's minutes as well.
No, because come on with a bro, get them right.
You know,
but if you look at Kudus, Ash, if you look at Kudus on the other side, right? Sani isn't there anymore. For example, that forward who can score. So isn't Kudus and Savio too similar in their profiles? Both of them do similar things. So how is that going to happen? Who are they passing it to, right? If Tel was clinical, if he was good enough, I can see he's an inside forward, but 2 touchline wingers, I'm not sure that's going to work.
I hear it. So I think for Kudus at West Ham, he was competing with Bowen on that right-hand side. They pushed him out to the left.
100%.
And I think his output dropped as a result of that. I think this season, when he kicked off his season, last season under Frank, he was our only outlet. So teams started to double up, triple up, and it came a bit more predictable once we started losing certain players to injuries. And also the tactical side of things. It was like, who fit to Kudus and Hope? I think that's what happened. And so the output for me, because I've seen Kudus have great output in terms of his first season at West Ham, he got 8 to 9 goals in the Premier League. And we know in obviously the Eredivisie, I know it's not a great league, but he got like 18 to 19 GA, do you understand? So we know he can find the back of the net, but it's how you're positioned yourself. If you're pulled out wide and you're touching the line, you're not going to be scoring goals. If you're coming into the box a lot more, and that's what De Zerbi wants, he wants his wide players to play from out to in. I'm hoping, this is hopium, by the way, that Kudus' output come up a little bit. Because like Dan says, you got to bring the and
boys, before we go any further, listen, hold on. James has got to go. Listen, James, thank you so much for stopping by, my man. We all very much appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Thanks for banger.
James.
Big up, James.
Take care.
Big up, buddy. Thank you.
Big up, man.
But this is what I don't understand about Savio. This is what I don't understand about Savio at all. Is the way that I remember Brighton playing is the wide players, even the fullbacks, right?
Yeah.
Getting round the back, right? The forwards would come a bit deeper. They would make space, and like Matoma would score goals, right? From wide. Yeah, and the wide players were getting goals. Like Stupian was coming and getting goals, right, from wide. And now we're transitioning. Now it is De Zerbi. I'm not in De Zerbi's head. I can't get into De Zerbi's head, and I want to get into De Zerbi's head. Now we're banking everything on. You can argue: is he going to be good? Is he not going to be good? None of us know. I make Dan right. The maths usually win, right? But we're banking on a touchline winger who, even in his best season, was an assist machine, not a goal machine. And that's not what I remember De Zerbi ball being. So how is that going to translate? Does he think that he is going to convert Savio into a goal-scoring winger?
So basically, from the Man City days, he had 2 roles, one on the right-hand side, one on the left-hand side. From the right-hand side, what he would tend to do is he would, off the right, because his left foot was stronger, he would invert quite a bit in the midfield, and he would hit through balls, for example. If he wanted to go on the outside, which he did often on the right-hand side, and he played 27 times, I think, on the right and about 25 or 26 on the left. On the right-hand side, he would get to the byline, but sometimes what he would do was chop back onto his left when he was at the byline, and as he's chopping back, it's a bit more predictable to read, and therefore he wasn't as effective on the right in terms of sometimes goal creation because, the decision-making there, that's when it came in, right? And on the left-hand side, what he tended to do was run beyond, and then he was a bit more vertical, a bit more direct, and he was able to possibly get those shots off. But I think what the hope is, and Zerbi said it in the interview, he wants to coach that into him. He said there's no doubt he needs to improve on that goal side of things. So whether he plays on the left or on the right, I even watched his preseasons, to be fair, and I want to see how Maresca was going to platform him in his system because he likes his wingers to hug the touchline and then come in. And I felt that when I did see him in that preseason, he was getting a lot more shots off and he was having a lot more 1v1. I think at City, his role was to kind of retain the ball and keep the possession a lot more and recycle. And so therefore, you saw it with Jack Grealish at times when sometimes you'd have the ball,
yes,
he would turn back and then he would pass it instead of going at his man 1v1 and trying to score, cut in and shoot. He said, no, he's all about, he wants his wingers to be for the team as opposed to, I want you to be like direct and hit the goals.
So what are we doing then, Ash? Are we looking for actual wingers, which in general don't exist anymore because teams don't really play with wingers anymore, unless you do a 3-5-2, and that's usually with wing backs as well, yeah? Because a 4-2-3-1 is not to use wingers. A 4-2-3-1 is to invert. Now, you can use a more of a winger, like have one spread a bit deeper down but cut in. But usually these days, where only literally bar the odd team on the planet plays with 2 strikers, everyone else plays with 1 striker. That's why usually you only have 2 strikers at a club and you don't have 4 good strikers anymore, yeah? So the goals have to come from the outside. Like even Liverpool, when they didn't have the striker, totally focused on the sides to bring it in. And literally anyone who plays a 4-2-3-1, they need at least 1 person on there who can cut in and significantly score goals. So I make you right on the what he might be wanting him to do as such, and City might have actually held him back. I think they fucked up Grealish good and proper and wasted a player there, basically, bar that one good season he had, and should have used him as a 10. He was born to be a 10 all day long, in my opinion, yeah?
Well,
and maybe they've done that with Savinho. Maybe he can score the goals. It's just the question is, no one's seen him do it. Let's hope he can do it. I'm not saying he can't. I just need to
that's why I said at the start.
It's a bet, Dan. It's a bet. It's a bet. It's a bet.
So,
it's a bit of a it's a risky bet. It's like it's a 6 or 7 to 1 rather than a 2 to 1. Do you know what I mean? On Savio, it's
like Kingsley being in goal, basically.
Yeah, and I'm not. You know me. This summer, I reckon we should have had a Moneyball summer, and for me, this is a risk too far. Sorry, Ash.
I for me, look, first of all, where I'm different to other fans is I'm a football fan first. I think that's what it is. And I am a Spurs fan as well. And I think where I get caught up is I do like to see a bit of flair, a bit of finesse, and
a bit of real football.
I'm used to a bit of football. I'm used to, from when I was getting used to Brennan Johnson, just tap it in the back, tap it back post, finish.
Get used to drinking water.
Right then, yeah. And even Son, right, as big of a goal scorer he was, Son was amazing, right? He's one of our legends.
Yeah.
People will criticize him at one point because he wasn't able to do the 1v1 and go on the outside. He was always trying to cut in and shoot. And people were saying under Ange, but we need a 1v1 demon. We need a 1v1 demon. Do you remember those days? And people said, no, Son, he's like those dogs. You got to put him down. And now they're saying the same with Maddison. You got to put it down. You got to put him down. We know we love him. The fan base is too sentimental. Like Son's lost it. Come on, But I just think with what we're doing with Savio, because he's so young, and I know people hate this, they're looking at
how old is he?
22.
22.
22.
Yeah,
that's not young.
No. But what I mean,
ain't old either.
No. But what I mean, like, all right, cool. He's not young. He's old enough, right? But there's a ceiling. That's the point I'm making. So he's got a chance. If he was 27 and he was doing this, I get it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But
no, that's a fair point.
As a winger, you'd hope as a club you'd invest and you pay. You'd rather overpay for the potential than underpay and pay for a 26-year-old, and then he might hit the goals. He might hit 5 or 6 goals or 8. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. That's what we're overpaying for that. And go on, sorry.
I get what you're coming from. Do you know what? I see your point, and I half agree with it. I get your point. I think one problem we do have at Spurs is that we do actually, and over the years, have lived on hopium many times.
I agree
For me, Simmons is purely a player that you buy with a little bit of what you've seen, and then the potential that he can get significantly better. You're not just we didn't just buy Simmons on what he'd done. We bought Simmons on what he think he can do for the future. Look at his age. Same as Savinho, you're basically saying. Same for some strange dickhead reason we've done that with Archie Gray, and Bergvall's definitely fallen off the cliff as well. And we've done it with countless players where it's totally backfired. But then we've had the odd, like Gareth Bale, basically, which is just a freak of nature, where you couldn't have got. But I still think he's a very underrated player. Basically, he don't get the credit he deserves. I think he's been one of the best players out there. And like we've had it with Harry Kane as such. But there's not many players that actually works with. So I can see your point. So what do you go with? So I would rather we go out and get the player that is established, the player that has done it.
You need to have a balance then. I think that's the answer. So I think that's the reason why they're going for the Cody Gakpo, for example. He's like 26, 27.
That one makes sense.
But to see what I'm saying, he's got more behind him. But I think with like Savinho, the difference between him and Archie Gray, for example, he was in Brazil first of all. So he had a season at Amarino, I think the name of the club is. Then he went to Troyes in France, and then from Troyes he went to PSV. Had a stint at PSV, and after that he went down to obviously Girona, who were a relegation team, but he had the highest completed dribbles in the whole of La Liga for a 19-year-old. That was like unheard of. Like he beat like top professionals. So all of a sudden everyone was like, "Rah, who's this kid?" And it goes back to your point where he's allowed to get on a half turn, he's allowed to carry the ball, and he had like, his carries were like the highest in the league as well. So at Man City, because they play basically in the opponent's half and they try to squeeze them, he hasn't got the ability, he hasn't been able to show his ability to carry the ball into the first.
They've held him back basically like a Grealish.
And then enter the box because, there's a stat where carries that lead to chances or carries that end in shots, that went dramatically down when he went to Man City compared to when he was at Girona. Do you understand? Where you've got that kind of transitional threat, you've got that counter-attack threat. Do you get it?
But the concern is it Man City or is it the Premier League? That's the concern, and that's what we don't know. Is it Man City? Is it Man City that held him back, or is it? Look at.
I think it's a bit of both. I think there's a bit of both.
Look at us against Brentford. Look at us against Brentford. Exactly, we are going to fight. Yeah, absolutely.
But Rain, to be fair,
Savio can't do anything unless he gets the ball, and if we don't get him the ball, he ain't going to do anything. He's just going to, people are going to be criticising him like we criticised Tellen.
So Tell was criticised because of his physicality at times. When he first came to us, he was like, remember, we tried to play him in a centre forward role, but the ball wouldn't stick to him. He couldn't control it. People would bully him. He was new to the league and he would lose the ball. With Savio, at least when you throw that ball at him, it's going to stick to him, number one. So that's going to help us to play out of that pressure that Brentford was doing. And once he turns, remember how high Ayer was up, how high Nathan Collins was. Nathan Collins went all the way to chase Conor Gallagher. If Conor Gallagher had something about him and he had a bit of tech and his first touch was on point and he could turn him, all of a sudden you've got yards and yards of space in behind. And so that's why
you need Maddison, or that's where you need Maddison or Xavi in the 10.
Right,
but if the other person can't deliver,
right? But no, but what I'm saying is Savinho, what he can do as a winger, as a wide player, he can drop in like a midfielder, and he could take that pressure off. And his first touch, he can turn, or he could beat you with his first touch. Then he can run into the space and attack it. And people will look, if you haven't watched him, you just look at his stats and you're like, no goals, no assists. You're not going to watch every Man City game. You're not going to watch every Girona game. So of course, you're not going to get the context, which is always missing, right? So this is the point that I think where Spurs struggle with. De Zerbi's seen it, and he's come out in his interview and said, "I wanted you when I was at Brighton, and I spoke to you in 22-23 season." Do you understand? As he wanted Kudos. Yeah. What's the interview?
I don't know. I was asking you a serious question.
No. Did he? Yeah, he did.
Fair enough.
He did.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's an interview, and he said, "I spoke to him in 22-23 season, and I wanted to work with him then. Now I've finally got my hands on him."
Yeah.
So he's really
okay. Learn something new every day. I thought this was a roll off from like Spurs wanted him and sort of rolled it along.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing, man. But you know what? Right? Just
I spoke over you. I think Eugene wanted to say something.
I just wanted to say, Rain, to be fair, and I'm going to argue against myself. what Ash is saying is spot on. Where Man City
I
is
mean, that's
known.
not how these panel shows
No, I'm
work.
just
Chief,
like
but fuck it.
I'm
What are you gonna
balanced.
do?
I'm
Get a
totally
fucking
balanced. Man
mirror up or
City and
something?
Pep, they're known for stifling their wingers, right? If you look at Doku, if you look at Grealish, they're like Pep was known to not like the creativity, right? He likes to play within his system. So any winger with flair, right? He doesn't like that. Again, as we've seen with Doku. So again, my hope is, and Ash makes good points, that Savio has that in his locker, right? And honestly, I would rather overpay for potential with Savio by a bit than get Gakpo, who I know Gakpo is who he is. And for me, Gakpo isn't elite. Savio could be. Chances are slim, but he might be elite. So I would rather overpay for that. And if De Zerbi wants him, you know what? Like, let's hope that he can become a top player. With Gakpo's, I just don't see Gakpo improving from where he is right now at what? At
I just
27.
think Gakpo is a different type of player. I think Gakpo.
Yeah, but I'm just saying at 27, right? He's ceiling.
There's no ceiling. So I think what we're doing is we're trying to raise the floor in general. That's the reason why we're overpaying for this Premier League hype. You get it? We're not going overseas. And like, I know people don't all agree with it. You know, like we could probably find the same profiles outside in Italy, Serie A. Definitely we could. The Liga and Bundesliga, some people might argue, is that league good enough? Definitely in League, and that's a physical league. But I think what they're doing is that because we finished so low last season, they're like, we don't want to gamble. Let's get some players that have somewhat of a floor.
That.
You know that have the experience. Go on, sorry.
But there's also the other side of it. I'll make you right. That is literally what we are doing. Yeah, we're trying to play it safe, but by playing it safe, we've literally boxed ourselves into a fucking corner where we ain't looking nowhere else. I mean, let's be real. These players that we've bought, any one of us on here could have done that scouting. Mickey Mouse could have done that scouting. I know Mickey Mouse could get in the team, but that's not the point I'm making.
Do you not think that's a bit harsh, Dan?
No, not a chance. Not in a million years. No. Anybody could have scouted that. Anybody. Me, Ash, Mia.
It just
my
seems
wife,
like
my wife could have
Spurs
scouted
fans,
that.
mate.
No, I'm
you
not
sound
being
like an ungrateful
No.
Spurs fan.
I haven't said I ain't grateful for it. Fuck off, not a chance. I have turned around and said
But
that
it
any
sounds
one
like
of
you're
us
putting them
could have
down.
done the scouting. No, I'm not putting them down. Any one of us could have scouted that. That was the most simple scouting ever in a league. Ever. Tonali, everybody knew him. Fernandez, loads of people wanted him. Van Hecke, he was known. Senesi, known. Robertson, how don't you know about Robertson on a freebie, which I think is one of our better.
Go and get a load of unknown players that no one has a fucking clue about.
But you can have a scouting system out of the Premier League. What I'm saying is, if you actually listen properly, I mean, what is that free asset? If you use these two things instead of one of them, that's the phrase. If I remember correctly, I might have got it wrong. You'll tell me if I got it wrong. But there's two of them, Ben. Two.
Right. Oh, there is.
Right.
So
we've only scouted in the Premier League, which I have no problem with. But we've now put ourselves in a box corner where we've got nowhere else to bloody look. Everybody knows we're desperate, charging us 25% extra, then the extra Premier League money anyway, not selling us to the last minute now unless they buy someone. Shouldn't we have also been looking out the Premier League is what I'm saying. That scouting in the Premier League, we could have done that. So I ain't saying the players are bad. Don't exaggerate it. Don't exaggerate.
I hear people say this.
Anybody make me wrong there? Make me wrong.
I'm going to make you wrong. You're damn right we've gone for proven players. That's the best possible thing you could do to get a team to
So we could have all done that scouting, couldn't we?
We could have all scouted. Who the fuck says that we're boxing ourselves in a corner?
Because we haven't gone anywhere else out the Premier League. Because we ain't got nowhere else outside the Premier League.
And you're telling me that's not the best thing we can do as a club right now is to go and buy proven.
Yes, but there is other places. If you can't go and pull a bird in one fucking pub and get laid, go to the next one.
But do you not think they've assessed that and thought, okay, well, we're in a lot of trouble.
Obviously not.
2 17th place finishes. We need to try and get hold of players that know the league.
Majority, maybe. But leave yourself a door bloody open to give yourself a chance, and we haven't done it.
Who says that door's not open?
The transfers.
I mean,
it's there on paper. We haven't even gone for anybody outside the Premier League.
I think next season there might be a case for though. I think what they're trying to do now is
No,
kind of
next
lay
season
that
it'll be
kind of
worse,
foundation.
Ash, because we need English players next season. Because hopefully, if we get into Europe, there's going to be a big problem with homegrown factor.
I mean, Ash, do you
Big
think we've
problem.
boxed ourselves in here a bit?
Yeah, no,
I'm not saying
100%.
it's bad
There's like-
transfers, but we've
Yeah,
left
yeah, no,
ourselves
there's-
lack of option.
There's fullbacks, like we need a fullback, for example. If we're saying Archie Gray is not a suitable cover for Porro, then we need a number 10 as well. If we're saying Madison's got a
Very
fracture,
much so.
we're going to talk about that. But I looked up the fractures, and I think it's
He
like
is a fracture.
6 weeks minimum, bro. Like it's not 4 weeks.
Madison
but
is
it's-
a fracture. Not got a fracture. He is a fracture.
Oh, well, yeah,
He
this is
goal
it.
said 2 weeks somehow. I don't know how, but he said 2
Well,
weeks.
it's like I'm reading it. It says the bone starts to knit together 1 to 6 weeks, and then it says 6 to 12 weeks the bone becomes solid. 6 to 12 weeks.
That's it.
And it's
Yeah.
months 3 to 9, you work on getting your strength and movement back to normal. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
oh, 3
Ash,
to
you
9,
know,
man.
you know your weights, you know your medical and that, yeah. A fracture is actually at times worse than a solid break. Now, if you
Yeah,
splinter,
100%.
you're screwed. But a clean
Exactly.
break, you can fix it up quite quick. And the thing is with a clean break is it actually heals together and over the top and bottom of the bone and around the bone and can make it stronger. A fracture can screw you over more. I mean, in some aspects, like with an ACL, you're better off breaking both your legs than snapping an ACL, isn't you? You've got more of a chance of coming back solid. I just think we should have looked at I mean, Madison, look, the last I'll say on Madison, and I'll sit back. The amount of, he might as well have maternity leave. His missus has just given birth the 4th time. You'd think he's in that's done it. The amount of bloody maternity leave he's had off.
Yeah, I just think, like going back to the point of Europe and Prem, I just think what they're doing now is they're going to do the whole Prem thing. And then I'd imagine, I know you're right, you know, Benji, you've called it right. Next season, they've got the whole, was it the 80% or something, 70%? I don't even
Yeah.
I'm not sure on the numbers.
Goes
bro,
up to
but
it. Goes up.
I
to
know me is
80%.
hot on that. I know me is hot on the whole squad's like places and whatnot. But I just think they're trying to. Well, we've got the advantage where we're not in Europe. We're able to outspend our not rivals, but our opponents. You know what I'm saying? We can beat them to play. Like for example, Newcastle can't do what we're doing. Do you get it? Even if they wanted to, if they wanted to go for Savinho, they can't because Savinho A wouldn't want to go to Newcastle, and then B they ain't got the funds either. So I think we're trying to take advantage of that and Aston Villa because those teams are kind of close to us, isn't it? I'm not even talking about the Man U's, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, the Chelseas, the X and Y's, and we're trying to get back to that level. Do you get it? So I think that's the reason why we're doing that kind of spend heavy now, and then next season, hopefully we haven't got too many holes to plug because the floor's been risen. If that makes sense, we've got our baseline. Now we just need to add maybe 3 or 4 more quality players on top.
Makes sense.
Season to get it.
For sure.
So-
For sure.
It does make
Do you know
sense.
what I would say though is a lot of teams when they're in Europe field a smaller squad because of the homegrown thing. So if you look, quite a few of them actually do that. To be fair, the only reason obviously I'm saying about squad places is because we've got so many players and we need to register players. And obviously we've got excess players that need to get gone.
For
Right,
sure.
But for
obviously,
me personally, if man don't want to be here, see that Bergvall, man was saying, right,
Yeah.
you know what?
Bake potato. See you later.
You know what I'm saying? If you're talking wicked, well, I got no time for you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like you're probably like 3rd or 4th, you know, in the whole rotation, you know, the pecking order. Sorry. So if you want to get
Listen,
your first 2 minutes, I'm not gonna begrudge you. You can
Joe,
go.
Joe,
You need
what,
to make it.
Ash? If I'm honest, I'm the sort of person that's saying now, listen, get well soon, Odebert. But as soon as you're well, we're getting you out of here in January. We're not registering you. January, cool man, you can go. Like we're
Baked
gonna have
potato.
to be. We're gonna have to be really ruthless,
Ruthless.
man. We're gonna have to be
Stop.
ruthless with it.
Stop giving them a bloody blue badge. That is literally what we do. We give half those players a parking blue badge. Go sit up on the double yellow line. Go sit up on the red line. That is what we do. Ben Davies, blue badge. Madison, might as well give him a blue badge. Kulusevski, might as well give him a fucking red badge, for God's sake. The list goes on and on and on
Kulu
with
is
players
another
that we've
one.
done it for.
The man's not
Celso.
wrong, is he?
We've done
Gallagher,
it with Lo Celso.
Richarlison.
We've done it with no,
Man's
but
not-
they
man's
actually
not
play
wrong.
football. Richarlison might as well get a bloody blue badge as well. At
We
least
need-
Well,
Gallagher don't get injured.
Seeing as we're talking about players, right? I just want to lead on to this really
Hey.
quick.
No.
What's that?
Careful, Benji. The Richarlison gets 2 blue badges. Like he's the first one that's got to be shipped out. I'm sorry.
The
I'm not gonna
things
have
I
it.
want to say about Richarlison, I can't say on YouTube. So I'm not even going to mention his name. But look, seeing as we're talking about players, right, at Spurs, I wanted to ask this, and I want to say this quietly. Have Spurs quietly gone and built one of the most exciting squads in the Premier League, or have we spent 300 million and still left our team with gaping holes? I mean, by all means, someone take the floor on that one. I want to know if anyone in this panel believes that Spurs are truly building something great.
No, you know what?
I think, can we hear from Cookie? Because I've not heard. I
was
his
gonna
voice
direct
in a
that.
while.
Cookie, my man, come on. He's exhausted from
You
50,000
know what? No, I'm
shows
not.
a day.
I'm not. Look, I'm getting to the stage now. Look, everyone knows that I've called for forwards for 7 weeks. Everyone said, "Oh, just take your time. It'll be all right, Cookie. Don't worry." One thing I did want to counter with that someone said earlier before I crack on is someone said about Marmoush and Savio and Kudos. Yeah, listen, what's to say? We've done fuck all for the last 7 weeks, apart from these two that are coming in. What's to say they won't bring in a number 9 and put Marmoush at the 10? Because he can play there.
He can play. I mean,
there.
you wouldn't
It
want him
could
to,
happen.
though, Cookie.
Just saying.
You
I mean, I
wouldn't
doubt
want him
it.
to.
Look, you know what I'm saying. I mean, look, I'm not saying the best striker in the world could come in, but it's a possibility that someone could turn up that takes their eye and at the right price or whatever, right age, and they put that person in the 9 and drop Marmoush off to the 10. Then if the centre forward did get injured, he could go and play in the 9. Do you know what I mean? If he had to.
For sure.
That's just a shout. That's all. I'm just trying to look. The way I see it is that I think every Spurs fan, if you said now 17th, and you could get into the top 6, they'd take it all day. I know I would.
For sure.
And I don't care who's up front. You know, as the team as it stands at the moment, right? Number one, the chances of this lot landing together and taking off is minimal.
Mm.
Yes, United done it last year. They got their strike force sorted out. They ended up finishing whatever it was, 3rd or 4th, whatever it was. Right? They done all right. They got up there. They got into the Champions League. I don't think this team gets you to the Champions League. Right? Even with the forwards, because the depth is not there in the squad. Right? So this is where I said earlier, the patience has to come in. And again, listen, if Tottenham take off, yeah, and go and win something, brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah, the chances are it won't happen. But at the same time, I think it's a stepping stone procedure. I'm not saying that any of the players like Tonali love him. Absolutely love him. I think he's levels above anything else we had on the pitch. Fernandez with him together, who's still getting better. Yeah?
That kid is a baller, Cookie. Oh, my goodness.
Right, look, right. We'll see, and we hope so. Yeah, we hope it works out for him. Right, Savinho coming in. I think it'll be absolutely fantastic for Spurs. Right, I think he is that. Listen, you've got to remember, I'm a bit older than you lot, so I remember the days of the Ginola. If you go and if you put Ginola's stats in the system, you wouldn't put him anywhere near Tottenham. Trust me, no one would have picked him out to come to Tottenham. Ginola come to Tottenham because he was sexy. Right?
He was a handsome man.
To Tottenham because he was a seat lifter. Every time that ball hit his feet, yeah, everyone stood. Right? I remember them days. Some of you might not. Right? And I think Savinho or Savio, as you want to call him now, right, could be that player for Spurs. I think technically he's very gifted. I think he's a confidence player. Right? I think what De Zerbi's trying to do is totally different, and it might be as simple as give and go. Just that bit of movement, simple movement, that we don't seem to have. How many times, and I don't want to see it again this year with Van Eyck and Van der Ven or Senesi or any of them at the back, how many times last year did Romero put his foot on the ball, 5 yards inside his own half, pissed about for 20 seconds because there was no one to pass it to through the lines? Van Eyck and Senesi, that is their game. That is how the Zerbi plays. He likes to play through the middle.
And Cookie, eventually we're going to see this, right? We are going to see people starting to gel. It's going to work out. I'm positive.
But Benji, my main thing is, and I've said it on all the channels and I'll say it on yours, I didn't expect any more from Spurs than when they said they were backing him, was that to give him a first 11. Right? Give him a first 11. If you go and get him a first 11, if there's 2 or 3 you think were good enough from last season, and you go and get in 6 or 7, whatever it is, right? And you give him an 11, they've nearly done it. They've nearly done it. For me now, if Marmoush is over the line, right, and they can go and get a centre forward or a right wing, whichever balances the squad better for the team, because obviously Solanke's there as a striker, and you've still got Richarlison there as well, right? Whatever that means. But we've got to have patience.
I'm with you.
We've got to have patience. Look, it's a stepping stone game, right? And along the way, there'll be players that are here now. Yeah, in 3 years' time, yeah, there'll be a distant memory. Trust me, right? If ENIC are doing it correctly, yeah, and if they're doing it properly, you'll see players disappear over the next couple of seasons who are here now. Yeah, they'll disappear, and gradually they'll feed in better players
for sure
across the team over the next 2 or 3 years. And like I think it was Dan said, they'll bring in first team players, yeah, and then that'll make the squad stronger, because whoever drops out is still a very good player. So then when you see substitutions come on, you don't see ding, which is a massive problem at Spurs. You see more like ding. Right? It takes time. I want it tomorrow. Right? I'm 58 years old. I want it tomorrow. But I know it's not happening tomorrow. Right? I'm like a big kid. You see behind me.
But do you not think we're a lot closer? Do you not think we're a lot closer after this window shuts to what we've been in a while?
Yes, but again, it's a stepping stone. It's a step, and again, patience has to come into it. And like I say, I think
it's a big fucking stepping stone. Like, let's be honest.
Look,
if it works,
it may well be, but like I say, I don't think you'll see players here in 2 or 3 years' time that are necessarily here now. And I don't. Senesi may not well be here in 3 years' time. Yeah, the ones that are more elder, if you like. I don't expect a Maddison to be here next week, let alone in 3 years' time. You know, they've got to filter players out and filter players in once they give him his 11. Once he's got what he thinks is his settled 11 that he would pick when available every week, then maybe people can start to judge after 10 games. I don't want to say 10 games. I want to say after Charlton, because I want to see what this so-called De Zerbi ball is all about. But I don't think it'll happen in one game. I really don't.
No, it's going to take time.
It will.
Because listen, you've got to think. That's
Dan. One second. Sorry, just quickly, right? There's something I'll come back to you in 2 seconds. In fact, go on. You go first, and I'll go after. Go on.
That's all I was going to say. Is it is going to take time? I said that at the start, and I think that I think Maz smashed it on the head with what he said on the fact that with that game against Brentford, we are going to learn a lot, and De Zerbi is going to learn a lot as well. And I think all of us realised, okay, we didn't have all our best players on there. I get that. But we got an absolutely schooled. Not just we was lucky we didn't lose that 5 or 6-0, basically. We didn't even I mean, we could have got a goal or two if we didn't play someone like Mikey Moore on the side who has no Premier League experience. Like the fella says here, like Spurs fans' patience, yeah, few and far between. For some reason, this fan base has probably the least amount of patience in football even. And we've got some good players there. Something can be made out of this, I think. It just ain't going to happen in 5 minutes. I mean, look what happened with Liverpool last year. How many new players did they get in that first 11? Was it 4, 5?
5 or 6, I thought, wasn't it?
Something along those lines. And they look like an absolute car crash until it came to the last 10 games. Verts, what utter crap until the last 7 games. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to something, give or take a game on it, yeah, just random numbers, but close to it. Sometimes it will just take time, and for once, I think we're going to have to sit back and just ride it. And I think De Zerbi can do it. But on the other side, every time I see a manager make a red flag decision like I think he did, I mean, there's nothing wrong with spot. You can only judge by the game and then compare to the last game or two, yeah? So if the game is crap, you can't just sit there and say, give it time. You're allowed to sit there and assess it. I'd expect the manager to turn around and talk about what was crap. Fergie used to win a game 5-1, then drag the players in there, not mention nothing about the 5 scored, and go totally off his head that they conceded a goal. I've read it in both his autobiographies and Roy Keane's. He used to go off his head about the goal for over an hour at them. We shouldn't be conceding that goal. You got complacent, whatever way. If you don't pick out the negative sides, you can't fix the problems. You just keep putting the problems under the pillar like Spurs supporters have done and Spurs have done themselves for donkey's years. Problems don't go away. They get bigger. But then when there's something positive to talk about in a game, you talk about the good stuff as well. It's just that last game, there was absolutely nothing positive to talk about. And that decision of making Gray as captain, that weren't just a red flag, that was a bloody rainbow flag. That was a bad idea.
Is that worse than a red flag, is it, Dan?
I would say so.
Hey, Ben, I had a question.
It was not a good idea. And last I was saying it, yeah, I think it's going to take a bit of time. But as long as even if we're getting smacked, but you can deal, as long as by January, I see us get rid of a couple more players and maybe a player in at least, and start seeing progression by the end of the season where you can actually see that we're not just winning a game with a bit of luck. We're actually winning a game because we're getting better, even though it's going to be some nasty games. And you can see that we're not getting smacked 3-0 because we're total dog shit. We got beaten 3-2 or 3-1 because they were the better team, but we gave it our all at least. I will be happy enough. And then I want to see the progression on next season.
No,
I want to see progress now. And it's going to take time.
I'm with you. But before we move on to the next question, guys, I've had an idea, right? And listen.
Wasn't Eugene going to say something?
Yeah, don't hurt yourself,
sorry,
Ben.
Eugene,
it's all right, mate.
Matey.
No, just quickly. Oh, go ask if you want.
Oh. You sure?
You're on mute.
Oh, no.
Did anyone answer the question?
Who's on mute?
Did anyone answer the question?
No, I don't think that no one actually did answer the question.
No, we just kind of went off. But it's right. Listen, I've got
just
something
quickly.
better. I've got something better. But you go.
Just quickly, no, Cookie mentioned a 3-year plan with the players and building the squad. And again, just kind of my bigger issue is, will De Zerbi be here in 3 years? And will the club follow his style and appoint the next manager who's going to look at Savio and Kudus, all these players, and find them useful versus what we've done in the past where we're going to play a different style? For me, the philosophy of the club, that's a bigger even question than picking a squad, right? Because we all know how De Zerbi is. In 2-3 years, he's going to bounce. So the question is, will these players who are going to be on big wages in 2 years, will the next manager find them useful, and will the club have a philosophy so that we don't do a rebuild every 2 or 3 years?
But the thing about that,
but Joe, to be fair, that's something, as you've rightly said, Spurs don't do that, do they? They buy
that's a bigger issue for me than individual players.
And you're right. Now we've brought in some actual quality. If it doesn't work out with De Zerbi, hey, we're left with quality players. Sorry, Mia, go on, love.
Yeah, so the problem, like the thing about that is that we're now looking into the future, trying to be Mystic Meg about what might or might not happen about the future. At the end of the day, that's not a now concern. I understand it is a concern, but it's not really a now concern, right? I feel like that the club need to do the right thing along the way. So it doesn't matter whether De Zerbi stays or he goes, they have to do the right thing, right? Whatever manager comes in, buy that manager. And if they're going to get another manager in, they have to get one that probably does suit what the players that we have got. Of course they do, but I feel like that's a future problem that we're worrying about that we don't need to really think about right now. I understand we've all got a bit of like stress
We're
from the
Spurs
past,
fans, we're
but
Spurs
like
fans. That's what we
live in the
do.
moment, people, right? So me,
All right,
I'm going to
let's
answer
live in the moment for a second. Then let's talk about now. The now. What do you think is Spurs' biggest weakness? Because Benji asked a question. Out of the money that we spent,
well, I was about to answer it, Ash, but you interrupted. But you know,
babe, sorry,
You're gonna let her talk to her like, are you mad?
Sorry,
Ash? Go at her. What's the matter with you?
darling. Go on, sweetheart.
He's such a gentleman, isn't he? God damn, Ash. God damn.
so
Yeah, Mia, where's the aggression coming from, man? Come on.
I
No need to
actually
be that
Calm down a bit,
aggressive.
Mia, all right? Seriously, we can't have you back on the show if you're going to act like this towards my guests, all right?
Yeah.
Ash, I apologise for her, mate. I'm going to have to time her out in a minute. You just rein it in a bit, Mia, all right? This anger, this aggression is not needed, all right?
Otherwise,
Calm
we need to
yourself
put
down
a
a
bloody
bit.
muzzle on the wolf, the way you just bit out there.
Muzzle on the wolf. I'm
know
so
what I mean?
pleased you said
I
wolf.
think it's absolutely outrageous. It's not like really do.
I ain't that stupid, Ben.
You.
I ain't that stupid.
Oh, she threatened to get on a fucking speedboat and come and kill me.
Even Mia had to laugh at that.
Hey,
Oh, got a Rain. What were you going to say?
Wolf.
She ain't even had to have a go at me. I've heard her go off at someone on my show, mate. So I just know that I know where I stand.
She's a little rocket, mate. You've got to be careful.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
it's getting
No
late.
need to
You know what I
bite
mean? So
everybody.
it's nearly time for me to go into my den and have a sleep time. So
I'd
maybe
never
I'm a
have
bit more
noticed.
chill. Maybe I'm a bit more chill
I'd
at this
never
time
have
of night.
noticed.
What I was going to say is actually, I think what Benji question is interesting because I think whilst you can say we're getting the players in to possibly build a good team, I think that the thing about it is it does take time to build that team, and we have still got problems in the team because we haven't got someone who replaced Spence. We still need somebody really to be that creator. So I feel like that it's going to take a few seasons, but yes, we still have got problems. So I don't think actually we have got a squad that's that. It's good, but I don't think it's just there yet. I don't think it is there yet. I feel like that we've got loads more work to do, but that is going to take time because there is plenty of spaces that places that we could probably improve on, and I feel like that we will do that, but not all in one go.
No, fair enough. That's a good point.
And we come back to the biggest problem, which is going to be Spurs fans being patient.
Do you know what? I was going to go to a different player, but a different question. But seeing as you said that, guys, I want to ask you a very quick question. And again, chat, join in if you want. Who is under the most pressure at Tottenham right now? The manager, expensive signings, or the fans' level of expectation has now increased? So it's either the manager, a big money signing, or the fans' raised expectation. Who's under the most pressure right now at Spurs?
Manager, I'd say. Manager, definitely, because he's being backed. There's not one person on the panel that can't say De Zerbi has not been backed. He's been backed like no other coach that we've had in our entire Enoch so-called, period. I could go further back, but I'm going to just stick with the Enoch period. In my opinion, Rain, you can correct me if you want. But
for me, it's been Ivan Katesh, because he's the one who's spent all this. He's the one who's given the green light to spending all this money, and he is gonna. He wanted last season to hold on to Frank. He wanted to be patient, and right or wrong, he was overruled. Is he gonna get his way this time? Because there are gonna be people who lose their junk if we're in the bottom half in October, November, and I make everybody right. But I still remember. I go back. I remember going out for a smoke, used to smoke, going out for a smoke, Twyford train station, Twyford train station car park with my mate. We just signed this guy. I didn't really know him very well. His name was Maurizio Pochettino. And I turned around to my mate and I said, this guy, one thing we need to give this guy is time. We need to give him 18 to 24 months before we can actually see what he's going to do. And that was right then. Mia, said it earlier about Poch. And I still think, and I think it's even more right now, 17th twice, a complete squad rebuild. There has to be a level of expectation management.
I gave De Zerbi 16 months. Do you think? Sorry, no, I gave Frank 16 months. Do you think De Zerbi will get longer than that?
He should, man. He kept us up. Just him keeping us up, in my mind, he's a legend. Like, just give him time. Just that, it saved us. That's a lot of money, a lot of players. Right now, if not for him, it would be like West Ham in the Championship. So him keeping us up buys them at least a season.
So that's credit in the bank for you, is what you're saying?
Oh, for sure, no doubt.
Okay,
I mean, just that. Yeah.
Me personally, if he starts to fall below 14th and we're 6 months deep,
yeah,
I am looking at him sideways, bro. I'll be totally honest, because that for me means what you're trying to implement ain't working, or the players they're not getting it. Either way, it's coming on to you. I mean, if I say that's on Vinay, I'm not gonna lie. I can't put that on Vinay. I can't. For me, that's agendism.
The manager.
Yeah, he's not the manager. That's an agendism to me.
It's like having Archie Gray as captain in the aspect of that is down to De Zerbi because he made him the fifth bloody choice and also put Ben Davies on there. He's got to take the stick for that.
That doesn't scout.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I guess that's
the reason. Is he trying to do an Arsenal? Do you think he's trying to do an Arsenal though? But go on, Rayn, you carry on.
It's what we got to do.
The reason why I'm saying Vinay is because he is going to have to make that decision, Ash. If we are 14th, 15th, the wrong side of Christmas, Vinay is going to have to make a decision. And we've seen in the past, the decision that Vinay wants to make is, I'll give it time, right? And will he make that decision again? Or will he be overridden? And that's why I think he's the one. De Zerbi's got one of the easiest jobs at the moment. He can just go 17th twice. We need time. For me.
Do you think he can still say that, given the fact that he spent nearly 400 million or 300 million, whatever it is? You still think he's got? Okay, all right. I just wonder if the Spurs board will look at this differently from this point, because realistically, we're not buying bums anymore. We're buying real players, real quality. And I think for me personally, like I know I've said, the fans, the players, or the manager, but for me personally, the way I look at it is, because he's been backed so heavily, I feel like the amount of pressure that is on De Zerbi right now to succeed. I mean, all I hope for is that both the fans and the board will allow just a little bit of time, because things are not going to come together quick. Show me for instance, where you've gone and brought 8 players, assuming we get Marmoush, and it's worked out instantly. It doesn't happen. I don't think you're going to see anything from Spurs, honestly, till probably December time before you start to see what we're about. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see, right?
I think if you look, Benji, back at what he's done in previous clubs, it has been like that. It has been a few months. The same at Brighton. It didn't happen instantly. So I feel like that, it has to be at least a good few months before anybody can really see maybe what he is doing. I think we'll see little bits of it, but I don't think we're going to see it fully, So I do actually think that it will take that bit of time.
It will actually stick with this one. Last thing I'll say, Ben, because I've got to jump and help Mrs. out.
Of course. Appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate the rate, my man.
No, cheers for having me on. Appreciate it. I think they might actually stick with this fella, unless something literally gets totally. And with what Ash said, I agree with what Ash said to the point. As long as the players are still trying, and we're in that situation, do you know what? I can maybe give it another month after that. But if it's the situation you're saying, and we've got the players put their hands down on the floor again, given up and everything, then again, it's back to start and it's baked potato, see you later, innit? But as long as I'm seeing the players wanting to play for that manager, I mean, when people say want to play for the club, oh, wake up, man. This is 2026. Not many players care about playing for a club. They play for themselves these days. Most players are bloody mercenaries. They play for their money. People don't kiss that badge and love it anymore like a Gerrard, like a Terry.
Unless you're
like
Savinio, who wants to come here.
No. What's that? When you're going to get... Yeah, if he manages to get to Spurs out the boot of your car, then maybe. Right. But with that one,
tattoo, by the way.
I think Ash is right on what he's saying. It is a thin line, but as long as I see the players wanting to play for the manager, I can still cut that bit of slack because I just don't think this is going to slip into gear so easy.
I know you got to go, so I'll just carry it on. The only reason why I say this is because most football fans aren't level-headed. Do you get it? Football.
They don't want to see both sides, do they? It's only one-sided usually. I agree.
Football is a very fickle game, so it's heavily results based. So if you're not winning the games, it don't matter.
Ash, no, there is only one thing more tribal and bitchy than football.
Love
you all
Island?
Know what it is. No.
Who just said YouTube. Love Island?
It's YouTube. It's YouTube. That is the only thing more bitchy and tribal than football. YouTube itself. None of you can make me wrong here. Anyway, I'll catch up with you all later. Cheers, Rev.
Take care, Danny. Thanks for coming on, pal. Appreciate it.
No, but you know what, Ash? Like, it makes sense, right? If the players are trying, and if we're seeing some, if we're seeing the improvement, like I want us in 3 months to be better than where we are right now. In 6 months to be better than where we are in 3 months. If I see that, and we finish 10th, I'm cool. You know what? Like, at least I'm seeing what the plan is. I'm like, okay, in 2-3 years, I can look in the future and there is hope for us to be good. However, if we flatline and if there's no improvement and Ash, as you said, his tactics aren't working, it's like, yep, what's the point? And honestly, I think by that time he's gonna implode, just giving his volatile. If it's not working, I think he's gonna bounce. Just my opinion.
See with me, like, so when it happened with Frank, I didn't see anything that Frank was trying to do on that pitch week in, week out. I was so confused of what we were as a team, and that's not what I want to see from De Zerbi. If I see that again, I'm going to be on his case majorly, because I'll be a bit like, right, I need to see something about what you are trying to do, and I think that's what's important, and I think a lot of fans need to keep that in mind. But if, of course, we have a Frank situation, then yeah, I'm going to be like Ash in it. I'm going to be like, hold up a sec, what's going on here? Like what are you doing? So I feel like there is definitely a balance to it.
I don't think it's necessarily going to be like a Frank. I think if De Zerbi gets frustrated, he's the type of character that he will self-implode.
Yep,
like, I'm not calling him a Conte, but I am calling him a Conte. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because if I'm looking at his history, his record, he's got it in him.
I meant a situation Ash is in, like we didn't see what he was doing.
Yeah, I know
what you're saying. What you're
saying,
me, is you want to see an identity early doors. That's what you're saying.
I want to see identity within a little while, of at least a month, have a little bit of an identity to what he's trying to do, because we're going to have these new players in. They all have to gel and settle, and I understand that. But I want to see and get fit. Yeah. So, but I do want to see some patterns of play, some of the tactics that he's implementing. I want to see that. I don't want to see an utter mess like I did when I saw Frank. And that's what made me go, this is never going to work with Frank, because I don't know what he's trying to be, like what we're trying to be as a team. So I want to see that from De Zerbi. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I think that's going to take time, but I want to see glimpses of it.
And you know what, Mia? And to circle back, the players that he wanted, like Savio, Van Hecke, right? I want to see Savio improve, right? Like by next season, I want to see Savio that Ash is seeing, that I'm not seeing. And I'm like, you know what? We overpaid, which is cool for me, but I can see the improvement. The Van Hecke, I don't see it physically, but yeah, he's the guy. So that money that we spent, even if we don't finish top 4, but the players are improving. If we're improving as a team as a whole, even though he might implode in a year or two, which we know it's a matter of time, right? The question is a year or 2 or 3. But I want to see him improve the players that he asked for. That's a big one for me.
My question is, and this goes back to Vinay now and the actual club. If, for example, we can see that Van Hecke defensively ain't it, like he's all over the place, he's jumping worse than Romero, like vacating that space, and he's costing us. And that right-hand side, it's just not quite working. Like the right back defensively, we're getting caught out time after time, and it's like glaring. Or, I know people don't like this, but Kinski, you just think, you know what? You're costing us now. You've let in one too many goals. You made too many mistakes. Are we the type of club, if the Zerbi calls it out, do we go into the next summer window and address it? Or is it going to be a case of, well, we can't do this one, but we're going to look at another position? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's the kind of question I got.
Listen, in January, if by January that happens, Ash, I would expect them to go into that January window and fix it and ask De Zerbi what he needs to fix it. If he's trying and like there's mistakes, individual mistakes that are costing us, and it's not to do with what De Zerbi's trying to do, I will expect them to do it, because now they're saying that they're this new ENIC. So show us, innit? Prove it, because those are the times where they need to prove it. And if we're doing well and De Zerbi needs more, then they also need to prove it. So either way, they need to show what they're made of, right?
But Mia, but if De Zerbi actually specifically asked for Van Hecke, and Van Hecke is not good enough, then if I'm De Zerbi, I'm gonna go back to Vienna and like, hey, he's not good enough, I want somebody else. Like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean?
I mean,
because he specifically asked for him.
I understand, but if
Brighton. So
but as
it's
I
not on
said,
Vinay, it's on De Zerbi.
I understand that, but you can get players and they cannot work out, and it can be if they're in. That's what I just said. If it's individual mistakes, like what Ash just described, right? People being out of position, making bozo mistakes, going in like too hard. If it's a case of Kinski not being good enough, right? You'd have to say that kind of thing shouldn't be just left. I feel like that should also be rectified if it's a glaring big problem that needs resolving.
But then I think what Eugene's saying is, if he said, "Oh, Van Hecke's my guy," we spent 52 million, then it's like, raw. Like, I just gave you 52 million for my guy.
Now
all of a sudden you want me to replace him already, and you're kicking off as well. Like
exactly.
You've got the type of guy to be quiet and be like, he'll be like, listen, I demand a new centre back and a new right back instantly, because they're hindering my tactics. So we've seen that at Marseille, and then Brighton there was an issue because they wanted to sell all of his best players. I know it's slightly different, but do you get what I'm trying to say? He's got that kind of volatile.
Yeah, no, I get that. But as I said, Ash, if it's someone like, say it's like because we haven't got another right back and we've got Porro injured and we have to use Archie Gray still, right? That kind of problem should be resolved, right? Those sort of problems, I feel like De Zerbi's well within his rights to say, listen, you need to sort this out. So it's those sort of problems, maybe not like the ones that he did want, like a Van Hecke and a Savinho. He needs to get the best out of them. Absolutely. He can't complain about that. But other places where we are a little bit short still, maybe, I feel like that's when they can stand up and be like, right, there is a problem and we need to fix it.
I'll tell you what, that leads into my next question perfectly. And
how
guys,
well have I done?
It's
almost like I didn't know the questions.
It's almost like you knew the plan all along. Well, listen, right. What I want to do with this one is I want to go around the panel. What player at Tottenham Hotspurs has the biggest point to prove? Mia, we'll start with you.
I think it'd be Savio, because I think that he's come from a massive club like Manchester City.
Of course you'd say that. Of course you'd say that.
But it's true. I feel like he's got the biggest point to prove, right? Because everybody is probably going to be looking at him thinking, are you going to make it? He's young. And I think that he's got that in him to want to prove it as well. I feel like he is that kind of player that's got it in him to want to prove it too, which I like. I like that kind of attitude, if that is what he is like. So I think that he, coming from where he's come from, with the stats that he's had before he came to City, I feel like he will want to get back up there. So I feel like he's probably got the most to prove to fans because of the price point, because people go by that. Not me, but people do go by how much we paid for him. So I feel like he's probably got the most to prove in my eyes.
Fair play. All right, Cookie. What player at Tottenham Hotspurs has the biggest point to prove this season?
It's difficult, really. Listen, I think Tonali, what I've seen from him so far, he's just got that thing about when he's under pressure, he almost seems to play better. Picks a pass, bang, gone. Gets it out of trouble. Do you know what I mean? My problem with it is that it's okay having Fernandes there because hopefully them two will really combine together well. Obviously, I love Savinio, so you know we won't even go there with that one. On the right, you've got Kudos. If you write this team down, that was what I was going to say. Imagine what we had last year, right? And then write this team down, this 11. Yeah, you'd go. If I said to you last year this was going to be the 11 this year,
you'd never
just
in a
laugh
million.
at me.
Never in a million.
You'd laugh at me, right? I think there's still going to be a surprise in this window. Right? I've got a funny feeling something's going on, and it might go down to deadline day. Who knows? Right? I've got a feeling. And I couldn't give you a player name, but someone up front, somewhere, we're going to sign. On top of Marmoush, hopefully a Gakpo if he comes, and this player. I really think we're going to do it.
Cookie Cookside, I feel the same way. There's something in the back of my head that says, listen, we got Marmoush on loan, right? So there's no money spent there. Why not? Okay, listen, Eugene, you're next. What player at Tottenham Hotspurs has got the biggest point to prove?
I was thinking Tonali first, given the price tag and given his prime, but I'm going to go different. I'm going to say Evander Van. And the reason is he is a captain. And then given what we've seen from him last season, he was doubting tools a bit. You know, defense went from he's elite, he's world class, to he's doubting tools. He doesn't want to be here. He signed a new deal, big wages. If he's our captain, if he's a leader, I want him to take that step up. I want him to actually become a top center back. So I think the pressure is on him to step up and do what he did early on. So I would say make it.
No, do you know what? All three of you thus far have made perfect points, and I completely understand every one of them. Rayn, you're next, my man. Who's got the biggest point to prove at Tottenham right now?
Yeah, my first instinct was Tonali. And then I thought, I can't say Tonali now, so...
well, you can. If you can, you can go right ahead and say Tonali. What's wrong with that, mate? Do you think, pal?
So I'll say Van der Ven. I think it's between one of those. I think they have to step up. It's time for leadership, and it's going to be a tough. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I hope I turn up to the Newcastle game at the weekend, and it's like, whoa, this is amazing. Whoa, look at the type of football we're playing, right? That's what I hope. But
at least we can do it then, Rayn, if you see it once.
Maybe, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's then doing it every time.
Yeah, there's that.
I'm expecting it to be a bit of a rough ride whilst it all settles in, and that is going to require leadership, because otherwise the players will turn on each other, and they'll turn on the fans, because the fans. I know what the stadium's like. The stadium will get upset, So it's those two guys. And I don't know why Tonali isn't part of it. I know Dan's going to be talking about Gray being captain for like 10 years.
Ben Davies.
I know who Dan's answer would be. It would be Kinski, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, maybe, absolutely.
1,000,000%.
So he's got to be in his He's got his bee in the bonnet about Kinski as much as you've got to be in your bonnet about Savinho, but in the opposite kind of way.
Me
Yeah,
got
but
to be
I'm
right.
right.
Him has got to be
Him.
right.
But
Yeah,
I'm right. I know what Savinho's going to do, and you are going to owe me a fucking big apology. Just wait. Savinho is going to cook. But anyway, go on, Rain.
Hey, go Ash. Oh, sorry.
So I don't know. You know, I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know why Tonali isn't part of that. You know, part of that leadership group, because I see him. You know, it's the spine. It's the old spine thing, right? Van der Ven, Tonali. They're going to have to drag this team through some tough times until we get to some sunny uplands. You know, in a few months. It's where I say.
Can I propose? I don't, you know, thinking on gambling, and anyone who's not interested, that's fine. Can I just say, there's a lot of skeptics. Say it for me, Rain.
Skepticism. No, hold on.
Yeah,
I can't say it.
It's because I've got a few teeth missing. That's the problem. I can't get the skepticism. Will that do? Is that all right? I think because of the skepticism over Savinho, I'd like to put a little bet to the panel in a super chat way. So it goes into Benji's little fund, all right? Just to send him out
into his
there a
tissue
little bit.
fund. Into his tissue
Right,
fund.
I'll go with Benji, so he can go. He can say yes or no, and all of you can. Right, just a little. I don't know, £5 super chat each to Benji's, whoever's right or whoever's wrong. Right, I think Savinho. Yeah, as long as he stays fit. Right, let's say that he plays. I don't know, 30 of the 38 games at least.
Yeah.
Right. £5 super chat from me says he gets 15 GA.
I'm with you
better.
all day long. Who's taking that bet, people? I'm all about that life.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
Don't forget, this is the gelling
and when money's on the line, you're quieting down.
No,
you should be the first.
I just said I'll take the bet. Again, are you going to use those two things inside your head or what?
If he doesn't get 15 GA, he should be the one sending super chats to everybody.
There you go.
To return the money.
Listen, for me,
I
he should get to Ash. 15.
Yeah, go
I
Ash.
want to get to Ash. Ash, I do apologise, my man. So again, the question is to you: what player at Tottenham Hotspurs has the biggest point to prove?
Sorry, Benji, for that. Sorry.
No, mate, it was great. It was great. I'm with you all the way, bro.
Right. That was really good, man. Don't be sorry. Oh.
Have plenty of time to think about it, Ash. Come on.
I know. I'm still thinking. Sorry. Jeez.
Your honest opinion, Ash. Who you think?
You can replicate whoever you like, Ash. We know. You don't have to think of someone different just because we've said all the best ones.
I think.
But no, you're all missing one.
Does it have to be a player that's actually playing right now, or could it be a hypothetical player?
So when you say hypothetical, are you talking about a player that could possibly turn up?
It could be Marmoush. It could be Marmoush because it's a done deal. Marmoush is done. So.
Huh?
I don't know.
I just feel like the reason why I say that is because I feel like one of the forwards, we need goals in it, and so someone's got to be responsible for that. That's how I see it. Someone's got to hold flag. So, is it Savio? Is it Marmoush?
Or is it the new number 9 that comes in?
Do you know what I'm saying? So I just think we need goals, and whoever is responsible for that, Solanke even, whoever that guy is, they need to be holding that kind of flag. They need to have that pressure. That's my personal opinion. It's not the perfect answer, but that's how I feel at the moment. So it could be Savio. Okay. It could be, do you know what I'm saying? It could be Kudos.
Get off the fence and give me a proper answer. Give me a name. There's got to be. You're going Savio. Oh, God. All right.
I'm going Pillowfoot. He's got a Pillowfoot right now.
Fair play. Just bump me.
I'm going to hit you with one player that no one's mentioned thus far. Okay, for me, the biggest point to prove is probably someone like a Van Heck. Listen, you've been brought into Spurs for an extortionate amount of money, given the fact you had a year left on your contract. You are Roberto De Zerbi's son. So this boy has to show up for De Zerbi. So for me, I'm kind of on the Van Heck train, honestly.
I think he might.
Go on.
I don't know, man. His athleticism is not great.
Yeah.
I've got question marks for him already.
I'm telling you, Ash. Him and Poirot on the right hand side.
We've seen.
Barbecue chicken. Barbecue chicken.
They're going to target it. I like it. They're going to target that. Anyway,
all day. Poirot and Van Heck is going to be.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
but you got
so-
Mickey.
I'm
Listen,
so-
you got the Mickey and Van Heck connection as well. Don't forget as well if they went not to
That's
get
huge.
together.
I don't want
If
to
that's
say
meant
too.
to be the settled, partnership there. Yeah, at least you've got that bit of pace that will show up 9 times out of 10, or even 5 times
Now,
out of 10.
I
Now,
don't want to cause.
Will we see essence of the Belgian barrier return at Tottenham
Nah.
Hotspurs? I wonder.
They were top
I-
defenders, though, Benji. Those were top defenders.
I know.
Like-
Go on, Mia. You were going to
I was
say.
going to say, if I say this very quiet, I don't start a riot. But are we sort of missing a little bit of Romeroisms in there?
Hey,
Like,
stop. Mia, no, don't go there, Mia. Stop it.
I
He's not available.
Wait,
He would have been like, "Oh, Argentina's calling. Sorry, guys." Later, so
Yeah,
out.
Van Hecke is like Romero without yellow cards. Romero was running around just like Van Hecke, out of position and being all over the place. Plus
No, I'm with you.
red cards.
I'm with you.
I don't
Better
know.
in the air,
Well, look,
better in the air, though. It was better in the air. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
Well,
like in the
well,
air.
well-
No, in the opposing box, not in our box. Like in our box, he was getting dunked on by everybody. But if he could score a goal, he'd score a goal. You know what I mean?
Look, what we do is, guys, we'll come to the very last question because I don't want to keep you guys going any longer than we have to. It's like 2 hours 26. I will just say thank you very much, Spurs Syndrome. I appreciate that, guys. If you want to like. If you don't. I understand, but I won't lie to you. A subscribe does really help me out, But anyway, I'll come to the very last question, guys. It's a big one. What counts as success this season? Anyone take the floor?
top 10.
Eighth.
Yeah, I'd say having identity. Yeah, having an identity, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think that's
Okay.
success.
You're not even given a league position.
No.
Okay. I hear
Changing
it.
my answer
Benji, are you
to
talking about the standings or are you talking about
Changing my answer
like
to-
trophies?
changing my
I'm
answer to
talking about in general. What counts as success for Tottenham Hotspurs when it comes to May? What counts as success for Spurs this season?
Top 5. If you look at
Okay.
the teams around us, let's just be honest, right? Other than like the big 5 teams, Villa, they've been rated, they're dropping off. Newcastle dropping off. Everybody else has Europe. They will not be able to compete on both fronts, as we know. So
Yep.
for us, there is, if the players will come in, if Marmoush comes in, right? Maybe somebody else come in. If we stay fit, for me, there is no reason for us not to make at least one deep cup run. Just make maybe like a semifinal and top 5. Just given
Okay.
not that we're great, just other teams are dropping off. The quality, even if you look at Liverpool's, at City's, like Man U's, they're better, but they're not great. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Chelsea is going to have
I'll call that right.
a easy run, and we should have a pretty good run at top 5. For me, that's what I expect.
Okay.
I could be
You know what, that's
delusional, and I'm negative
No,
usually, but
That's not
now there's no-
delusional. I know we shouldn't compare from last season because Man United were like 12th or 13th when Amarin left halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Still managed to get 3rd, but I know a lot of teams, mid teams, were taking points off each other, taking points off the big 6. This season it might be slightly different because the mid teams are in Europe.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of unknowns there, in it, and people are writing off Newcastle. But from what I saw against Liverpool, I don't know, man. I know they haven't spent the same way we have, but they did the whole thing what Dan was talking about. They went to Europe and they brought the profiles in that they needed. So it'll be interesting to see, well gone for them. But yeah, sorry, Cookie.
Statistically, Newcastle got shit on, by the way. But listen, you might be right. It might work out for them. Their manager is at 30. Mate, that manager they've got, that 38-year-old German who was a professional footballer, he retired at the age of 24 and has been coaching ever since. Listen, he's won wherever he's gone pretty much. He won a double at Strasbourg. I can never pronounce that properly.
Mm-hmm.
He also won in Saudi. So look, he might be a dark horse this season in terms of doing well. But sorry, Cook, what were you going to say, my man?
Can't remember now, mate.
Oh, don't do that to me. I'm sorry. Go on. Come on, Cook. Remember.
No, I can't.
Some more Red Bull.
I can't remember what it was about. I'm not joking. Seriously.
Sorry.
I can't remember.
This is how you treat your guests. You said about me,
poor
yeah?
hosting skills. I'm so sorry, Cook.
Listen. It's not a problem. What was we talking about 10 minutes ago?
Expectations.
Success.
Any
We're talking
idea?
about what success at
Right.
Tottenham
What do
this
you-
season.
Oh, I said top 10, didn't I? I didn't go any
Yeah.
deeper than that. Top 10. Sorry, I do apologise, Benji. Listen, it'd be nice to have a good cup run. Wouldn't it? Be lovely. I don't care if it'd be great if it was the FA Cup, but if it's the Carling Cup and we go deep in that, yeah, why not? Yeah, it's all part, I think, of the gelling process. Yeah, it's the way I see this year is, look, if we can get top 10 or anywhere near Europe with whatever we bring in, yeah, that's okay for me, right?
Okay.
Because I'm not looking at it as a sort of that angle. It's been that angle for the last 7-8 years. Yeah. And this
For
is
sure.
where the fans' standards will raise, because better players will come in. Yeah. They will gel together. Certain players you'll see will gel together just like that. Other players, it will take a bit longer. And that's where, like Rain says, the fan base has to be patient, because there may be games where we look absolutely unbelievable. And there'll be other games where not necessarily will we look like dog shit, but we might not be creating as much. Yeah, and that's where the consistency comes as the stepping stone gets better with the better players. Yeah?
Cookie, just on that 10th place you just said, is that with like the Gakpo or that secret striker that you're talking about?
Whatever he gets in, man.
Whatever he gets in.
Whatever he gets in. I don't get. We're at a level, aren't we? But we're at a level.
400 million and 10th, you're still like that successful.
We got plenty of that dough back in, mate, and there's still plenty more to get back as well. You know that, and I know that. All right, we ain't stupid, right? And they ain't stupid either. And listen, I'm not blaming them for it, mate. I want to see. I think it suits Enoch to do this. Number one for them, because their price will increase again. And then when it does come the time to all the so-called people coming to buy Tottenham, they can ask for top dollar, yeah, or near to top dollar. At the same time, they're appeasing the fans by spending, I don't know, what is it now? 250, something like that?
No,
with the
more than
players,
that, mate. It's 300
like that.
plus.
So we spent about 250, right? 200, 250 with Marmouche on loan and Savio in. It's something like that, right? With the returns on the other players, right? If we want to see better from this football club, squad depth is important, because you can have what you want, but if after 70 minutes, week after week, yeah, you're taking that player off to bring Joe Bloggs on, who ain't good enough, yeah, people will get impatient. Rain will tell you that. He goes like Ash most weeks, right? So all I ask from everyone, and I think everyone agrees on here, and a lot in the thing, we all want to go, bang, let's go.
Yes.
But on Brentford, yeah, and again, you haven't seen everything yet. Yeah, and I think you're looking at a good, where are we? I don't know. If we can get through tomorrow night and the next round of the Carling Cup, and we're sort of doing okay in the league, mid-table, whatever, you'll win some. And I know it's the Thomas Frank thing. You'll win some, you'll lose some. But I genuinely believe that will happen until he gets his so-called first 11 fit and running.
I don't know, man. Top 10.
It's a sacrifice, man. Look, when Arsenal, right? Arsenal, what did they do? 8th, 7th, 5th, 4th, and then went bang. Right, top two.
He's got a point.
But they didn't spend that much money.
I'm not saying do it the Arsenal way. That might not be the right way for Spurs. But at least Tottenham know, if you do it that way on the stepping stone basis, right? And whichever player is the bigger stepping stone and one might be a smaller one, that means that one that's got the bigger stepping stone will be here a bit longer.
I hear that. I know probably Benji wants to end the show, but I just want to add a small caveat. I just think the board would have a different expectation to maybe what you might have because they've invested so heavily. I reckon minimum Europe. Minimum Europe with that type of backing.
Any
that
kind,
type of
any
financial-
kind.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be top 9 anyway when it has.
I would say no. I would say Europa. I'd say
no
Europa.
conference. No conference.
I wouldn't count conference. I'll be honest with you. Anything
So what are
beyond
you looking
that,
at? Top 7 then, or is it top 6?
yeah, top 7,
Seven.
top 6, yeah, 7, 6. That's
Okay.
that's gotta be the. I'm saying the minimum like baseline, and I think they're building. From what I'm hearing anyway, from when I heard Fernandez saying we're going for the league when he signed, I think that, and they even asked Deserving, he kind of skated around it, but he kind of alluded that we're going for the league.
But you can't go for the
He
league
did
on
do
that
that, to be
3-0
fair.
Brentford, can you?
So, but I'm just saying from the board's perspective, and even when Frank was in charge, I remember them talking. I think it was Levy and Rain's guy, man. What's his name? Vinay. Them two were walking. Remember, they had the glass of wine and laughing. But they were talking about winning the league. Oh, we need to be going for the Champions League and the Premier League. So I think that expectation. Huh?
Yeah. It wasn't red wine. It was blood. It was blood that was.
We're miles. Ash,
I know
Ash,
that. Bro,
you got to
I
agree
know.
how it
I
is.
know
There's
that.
no way. I mean, if you stop the
in
market
fact,
now, if you stop the market now, Ash, sorry to interrupt. I do apologise, mate. I have to say it while I think about it. I do apologise. If you had what you had now, say let's include Marmouche as in, right? Let's include him as in. Savio's in. Marmouche is in. Bang! That's it for the window. Done. We're done. Right? Do you really think that what we've got there? And if we get a few injuries in certain positions, like Porro does an hamstring and we ain't bought a right back, right? For argument's sake, do you still expect them to be in the top 6?
Well, yeah, I think what you've got to think of, though, is if that does happen, exactly what I said should happen, Cookie, in January, they should then rectify it, right? If they're serious about wanting to get that top 6, if that is their aim, then they have to obviously do something about it if there is an injury to a Porro.
Right. And Cookie, also, like, if we think like that, if Haaland gets hurt, City is cooked. So for most of the teams, they don't have any depth, right? So you're 1,000% correct, but I think the same applies to many teams, right?
Yeah.
When their top guy gets hurt, they're done, right? Haaland's out, they're done.
I was just what the point I was getting to, Eugene, really is that in certain positions now, yeah, I think for argument's sake, a Fernandez goes off and a Bentancur comes on, right? Yeah, the level will drop. But in some way, shape or form, this mentality issue in the club has got to change for me.
For sure. I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And I want, Ash has probably said this a million times, I don't know, but Ash, from what I was always taught, yeah, about big institutions, yeah, if you can get what you want at the top, which is, let's say, a good mentality, yeah, everyone's thinking the same thing. I don't know, the chairman wants the same as what the number 9 does and what the manager does. Yeah, it's to, I don't know, like you say, could be top 4 this year. Could be winning the FA Cup or the Carling Cup,
but
whatever.
It's got to come from the top, though, right, Cookie? It's got to come
and
from
for
the
me,
top
until that is in place, yeah, and you could say, well, ENIC have shown it's in place, Mark, and they've shown the players, because look at what they've bought. But it can't stop there.
That's my point. That's my point. They can't be saying 10th with that mentality. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It kind of goes against, because we are quick to call out the board for the mentality and the culture.
Yeah, I get it.
So if they've come out and they're secretly saying, yeah, 10th is okay, yeah, it's all right, like, and then spending that type of money, the two to me doesn't correlate. It don't add up. The math ain't mathing. You get it?
But we've got loads of money, Ash, and we can soak it up for a year.
But do you not think, Ash, that the money that they've actually done, like they've spent, they have got, obviously I'm not worried about net spend, like that don't bother me. They've got some of that back, and also it's catch-up money, because this is stuff they should have done previously. So it's not like they should have probably spent that, some of that previously, and then they wouldn't have needed to spend so much now, right? So if that is their mentality, I feel like, well, actually, this is you just trying to catch up.
Well,
And we've got a lot of catching up to do.
It down to the. Look, I know you love the guy, but I just think the direction the other guy went in, he went to the old model in terms of like Gareth Bale, you know, getting the youngsters in and then selling them at a high rate. We tried to do that with like the Bergvals, the Archie Grays, the Tells, the Oderbers. That was the model, but we didn't, and that was outside of Europe as well. In the Championship, obviously Archie Gray, so he was the homegrown. But we kind of went to the outside the Prem model, but we went a bit too far in the younger route, because we thought we'd be smart, and then the money would go up. That backfired on Ange, innit? Because Ange needed this type of window that we're doing now for De Zerbi. He needed the wingers. He needed the attacking players, but Ange never really got that. He got Brennan Johnson, do you know what I'm saying? And then he got a Solanke. That was his attackers essentially, because Son was already there. But I just think now, like going past that previous, I think they changed it. I think they're not doing the whole youth thing anymore. They're doing this kind of, let's go now, let's go big now, let's rectify what we did back then and try to get this team back up, because we finished 17th twice. So they're like, clearly we need to rectify this, and that's the reason why we went heavy in this window. But at the same time, I heard what they said last season. The only reason why I say that is because they went for Eze. I know they never got him, and whatever, I know people will say, oh, but you always went Arsenal, or some people argue that, you know, it was because we mucked around and we were stalling, whatever people think is whatever, innit? But we did go for Eze. We did actually go for him, and we actually did go for Gibbs White. Had we had landed Eze, Gibbs White, and Kudos, that window will be talked about like this window, if that makes sense. Do you get it? And that's the reason why I'm saying that ambition prior to this window, I think they were going with it for Frank, and they wanted to back Frank like they're doing to De Zerbi. They wanted to do the whole Arteta thing where they back him for 5, 6, 7 years. They wanted to do that. That's why they held on for so long to Frank, but it backfired because Frank was a bit too safe, risk averse. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, our board and our chairman before that have been criticised for being risk averse, but this was the one window where
Ash, you are saying exactly what I've been saying for the last 12 months.
But do you not think, though, then if it's a case of doing a bit of an Arsenal, then because Unai's obviously done that with them, they finished eighth, and then, do you know what I mean? So they gradually build. So would their expectation be that, seeing as they gave Arteta time? I know he won a cup, but do you not think that maybe they wouldn't be as on it with that, because they did?
Let's be real, they didn't finish 17th twice before they finished 8th.
No.
Mia.
No, do you know what I wanted to say, right? I think after Frank, we've all heard way too much about Arsenal, but let's be honest, their model certainly wouldn't be a bad thing to work off, right? As far as I'm concerned, they've kind of done it right. Now, I'm a Spurs fan, I shouldn't be saying this, but listen, if there's a model to follow, I'm quite happy to go with that one. But listen, Rain, I wanted to ask you, because I don't think you've said anything. What counts in your mind as success for Spurs this season?
Oh, I said 8, but I do want to change. I do want to change my answer to what Ash said, because I think basically for me, this season is all about next season. That's basically the way that I look at it. Right?
I'm hearing it. I get
it. This season, basically, it's a classic graph, right? That everybody draws. It's a hockey stick. Yeah, you go down and then you get an uptick. Yeah, it's like the Nike swoosh. Yeah, and that's basically the way that I see. That's the way I see best case our season going. It's going to go down, 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 and then we're going to bottom out, and then we're going to go up. And we then need something to carry into next season, because let's be clear. Yeah, no matter what happens in the next week or the next 4 or 5, the next 6 days, I don't think it's going to be enough for our squad. And I think they're going to be tough times, especially if we can't get Madison, Kulusevski, Odebear. If Kudus doesn't, get good game time, especially if we don't get these players on the pitch, it's going to be tough times. And what we really, really want is for them to go again next summer.
See, for me, Rayn, right? Hear me out quickly, Rayn. Right? For me, I think the hardest thing you can ask a Spurs fan to do, and there are many of us, is to give patience, right? But I wonder, will this fan base, myself and everyone on the panel, be able to hold that patience energy when we're getting banged week in, week out? Because things are not going to go smooth. Maybe not banged week in, week out, but, things aren't going to be smooth this season. So I just wonder, will Spurs fans be able to hold that energy and remember that this is a process? Because, again, we've been fed so much shit throughout our time as Spurs fans that it's hard to want to be able to give patience. But I, for one, feel like De Zerbi seemingly is the man to lead us forward. Like, I want De Zerbi to be our next Pochettino, and I hate to be like retro on it. But, for me, yeah, I just...
But Benji, look, like we can talk about the past, which is fair, but let's say if we finish 10th, if we finish or 9th or out of Europe, if we look at our wages now and the fees, right? Van der Ven, Savio, Marmoush, we're going to have 5-6 players making over 250K or 200K. Again, I'm not an accountant, Rayn might know, but if we don't make Europe, if we don't get that money, how much money are we going to have to spend next season on improving the squad? My concern
How much would it have cost them to go down, Eugene?
What's that?
How much would it have cost them to go down?
Oh, no. I agree. No, I'm talking about the PSR. I'm not talking about like them not having it, but actually, like, I'm afraid, even though we're a way bigger club than like Aston Villa, right? But they spend a lot of money and Newcastle spend money, and now they're having issues. I know we have some room in the PSR conversation, but
we're fine.
Given our wage structure, and we have like 5 players at least, if not more, on high wages, not having Europe might impact us spending more money on improving.
It does.
The club.
What use high wages though, Eugene? Because I think we've only got a couple.
Van der Ven, Gallagher, I'm sure Savio, Marmoush, who else? I'm sure there.
If we get a Gakpo, I'm sure there is going to be. So what I would say is Eugene's spot on, right? Next season, the PSR, if we are in even any form of Europe, changes as well because of their rules. And if we don't make the Champions League, it will impact us massively with what we can spend. We're going to have to sell a lot more players to be able to balance it. That's why I think they're trying to sell players now to make the PSR up, to make sure that next season it's not going to be so imbalanced. But yes, the PSR, I already looked into it. If we don't make Champions League, it's going to be a bit of a tough one for us because we will have to sell quite a lot of players, I would say, to maybe bring them in.
Academy kids are going to have to go, which is okay with me, but yeah, it's going to be tough. That's why like Europa is bare minimum, like top 7.
And then it goes back onto expectations, bro. It goes roundabouts. This is my point. So, and people look at the Arsenal example as a way to go forward, but remember that Arsenal were in the stadium. The fans, weren't in the stadium.
Yep.
That's the reason why Arteta got the time, because had the fans been in the stadium, 8th and 8th, I don't know if they would have kept him, because the fan pressure would have been crazy. Luckily, it was locked down, people in their houses, their yards, so they got away with one. So I think with us, we were rectifying that mistake because of the protests, all that fan noise, all the media noise, TalkSport, Sky Sports, BBC, all the journals, do you understand? So I think that's the reason why we went extra crazy, bonkers in this window. And next window we'll see that, and this is the reason why we've got to finish Europe minimum. You know what I'm saying? Whether we like it or not as fans, we must finish in Europe.
Do you know what? Before I wrap, can I just have my very quick say on this, right? So
I didn't
for me,
say, but okay, cool.
What? Say that again.
I said I didn't actually say what I think is successful this
Don't
season.
give me sass, Mia. Okay, no one cares what you've got to say. All right. I'm so sorry. Did I not? Did you not say something?
No, I didn't say what I thought would be
I'm
successful.
sorry. I'm sorry. Go on. You run it. I'm so sorry. Go on.
So for me, I would want cup run, and I think a European place, not probably Europa, is for me where we need to think about finishing. I did say between 9th and 7th, but I think that obviously with the money we're spending for next year, we do really need to try and get into that Europa, and that's what I would say would be a successful season for us.
I hear it, and I agree. Look, do you know what? And again, Mia, I'm very much with you. For me, what would I like? I would love a Carling Cup. Good, how old am I? A Carabao Cup and any sort of Europe. I'd be happy with. I'd be happy with Conference League only because look, we finished 17th. 2 times on the bounce. I get we've spent a lot of money, but realistically, you got to give this team fucking get your words out. This team time to gel. And again, I said it earlier. Historically, when you're buying a lot of players, you're not going to cook straight away. It's just one of them things. But yeah, for me, I'd love a Carabao Cup and a Conference League. I'd be overjoyed by that. But failing that, as long as, and again, I'm with you lot, as long as there is some sort of Europe, I'm happy. But look, listen, I'm going to wrap it there. What I want to do is go around the panel real quick, and I want to say a massive thank you to all of you. Listen, without the viewers and without you guys, there is no show. And I just want to say, for one, I massively appreciate all of you. Mia, where are we finding you next, Mrs. Monetization? Fantastic. Try again. You were muted.
Yeah, and I always mute myself to be polite and not make noise because my dogs snore as well. You can hear the dogs snoring in the background. Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow at 11 o'clock as per usual. 11 a.m. Okay. You'll catch me on the Lone Wolf.
Guys, listen, do me a favor, please go and check that out. She's working so hard at the minute, and she's gonna got herself monetized. The posh cow. Lucky. I love it. Mr. Cookie, where are we going to find you next, my man?
What a stupid question you asked.
I've no idea. Yeah, I don't know why I wasted my time, my man.
It will be tomorrow morning, 9:30 on the breakfast brunch. Please, everyone, get over there, and you might even see the sheriff tomorrow morning. He's been on nights this week, and he appeared this morning, and he may well appear tomorrow morning. So, yeah, get over. We'll have a chat. Game day tomorrow. We'll have a chat about Spurs, have a chat about Charlton, have a chat about scoreline, players, the normal stuff. Then, whatever time we finish, we'll lob everyone over to Mia because we know that she's on. And then she will do with people what she will. What can I say?
Of course. Listen, Cookie works so hard at the minute, him and Sheriff. And you know what? You're not going to know if Sheriff is there unless you go and tune in. So please make sure you do that. Eugene, where are we going to be seeing you next?
I'm not a famous YouTuber. I'm not a superstar.
Yes, you are, mate.
I'm just a guy
you're famous for being happy. Of course you're famous.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the positive one usually. Usually I'm in a good mood, positive.
Joe, I think we need to do a happy off between him and Scott and see who's the happiest.
Hey, no, don't you dare, Mia. That's out of bounds. Me and Scott, no. I'm not Scott. With all due respect to Scott.
So you're just floating at a minute, yeah?
You're calling a float.
I'm spreading joy across, me and
Of course you are.
Joy.
You're like the Santa Claus of Spurs fans, my man.
Exactly,
we appreciate you for it. Rain, where are we going to see you next, buddy?
Well, I'm incredibly selective about which shows I go on to. I think I'm quite busy tomorrow morning, actually. So I normally like going on and having a natter with the guys. With the folks in the morning, but I think I'm going to be a bit busy tomorrow morning, Cookie. You'll see me turn up. You'll see me turn up somewhere tomorrow. I'll be sort of having a chat with somebody about a game tomorrow at some point. I don't know who. Depends,
gotcha.
Depends on.
Well, listen, you and Eugene. You like strays, you always have a home at the Tottenham Concept. All right, boys, I appreciate the pair of you. Mr. Ashmatic, my man, listen, When are we going to see you next? I just want to say very quickly, I absolutely love the work the Spurs Kings do. I always tend to tune in. I may not comment all the time, but I always tune in. What have you got coming up next, my man?
It's going to be a tough one. Rivals. We'll do that tomorrow. I'll run it. I know it's going to be a lot of post-match bonanzas after Charlton. But but just Spurs Kings TV, man. That's where you can find us. Me and Marlon doing the good work. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on again. Big up to the panel, wicked show. Big up to the chat as always. Love for the love, and that's it, man. Just one Spurs family, and we all have different views, but it's just opinions at the end of the day. It's just football,
You know what? That's what this is about, guys and girls. That's what this is about. That's what these shows really should be about. Opinion. And there's nothing wrong with getting.
Come on, Benji, the receipts.
Nah, fuck receipts, man. I ain't about that life. I ain't about that life. I don't bollocks your receipt. Do you know how many mistakes I make day in, day out? I have one opinion one day. I don't give a fuck.
Everybody waffles,
I don't
man.
care.
Benji's a flip flop. Basically, he's a flip flop.
I am a flip flop, and I'm proud. I am a proud flip flop. It's one of them. It's one of them. But listen, you lot watching right now, honestly, like I said, without my guests and without you, this show would be absolutely nothing. And we're building something here. And I want you to come with me on this little journey through the Spurs paradigm. So listen, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for stopping by. Take care, and hopefully we'll see you on the next episode. See you around. I should have had this fucking button ready to click. Bye.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!